drive to left. Going back on it is Mookie Wilson, and this one is gone. Henderson has done it again. And it is 5-3 Red Sox, and what a big run that was. Little poke job to left. Rice coming over. One away. Here's Keith Hernandez. And that's hit to dead center with Henderson going to run it down. And the Mets are down to their last out. Kevin Mitchell is on deck to bat for Rick Aguilera and Gary Carter at the plate. Lined into left field, base hit for Carter, and the Mets are still alive. Curveball, and that's going to be hit to center, base hit. And now suddenly with 2 out in the 10th inning, the tying runs are aboard, and Ray Knight will be the batter. And that's going to be hit into center field, base hit. Here comes Carter to score, and the tying run is at third in Kevin Mitchell. To Mookie Wilson. And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run. And Ray Knight is at second base. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
The following is a presentation of NBC Sports, proud to be the network of the 1988 Summer Olympic Games.
The 1986 baseball season comes down to this: the 7th game of the World Series between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets. Those who saw the Mets come from behind to win Game 6 will remember it for a lifetime. Is it possible or even thinkable that the series final contest could produce similar drama? Well, baseball history is filled with 7th game memories. Enos Slaughter's gamble, Sandy Amoroso's catch, Bill Mazeroski's homer, McCovey's liner clutched by Richardson. And here we are again. Game 7 next. No rain falling at Shea Stadium right now. Game time temperature will be about 53 degrees. A damp and chilly night, but we expect to be able to play Game 7. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. There's also some fog rolling in from out there, but I don't think it will affect things tonight. There is very little, if any, wind. The infield was covered, so it's in good shape. The outfield is damp but firm. Game 6, as you know, exhausted all superlatives. All that's left to talk about concerning Game 7 is the strategy, particularly the pitching matchup. Davey Johnson will go with Ron Darling, of course. He has an extra day's rest, now working with 4 days between starts. But the rainout last night allows John McNamara to switch from Oil Can Boyd to the man who has been his postseason ace, left-hander Bruce Hurst, on 3 days' rest. Earlier, I talked with McNamara. Mac, you're thinking on going to Bruce Hurst tonight.
Well, Bruce has been our most effective pitcher down through September, through the playoff series and also the 2 games in the World Series. Left-handed wise, our scouting reports tell us that the Mets are a better left-handed hitting ball club than they are a right-hand hitting ball club. Dykstra's out of the lineup, starting lineup tonight, so is Backman, the second baseman. They're the catalyst on their offense.
You've been asked this before. Here it is again. You're thinking on not hitting for Buckner with Baylor late in the game on Saturday and then not replacing him with Stapleton in the field?
Well, we had a 1-run lead, 3-2 lead with bases loaded. Billy Buckner drove in 102 runs for us during the course of the season against both left-hand and right-hand pitching. I did not think it was right to use both my pinch hitters, Greenwell and Baylor, in the 7th inning. If it came to a tie, nobody's available down the line. Defensively, If it was a case where range or whatever, Buckner couldn't get to the ball, then I would be subjected to a second guess. He is in front of the ball went through his legs, he just didn't catch it. He's the best defensive first baseman I have.
How do you assess the attitude of your club tonight?
Very good. They're positive. We've faced adversity all through the season, and we've met it. Related back to that 3-0 ball game, we were ahead in the 9th inning, got beat in Anaheim, came back the next day and turned the series around, or turned the playoffs around. That's why we're in the series tonight. We'll play.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck tonight.
Okay, Bob. Thank you.
We'll be back with Marv Albert talking with Met manager Davey Johnson right after this.
The momentum shifted in winning Game 6. It was over. If we could do what we did coming from 1 strike away from 2 runs down, 2 outs, and coming back and winning the ball game. Nothing, no circumstance could be more dire than that coming in Game 7.
Well, with reverberations from Game 6 being felt all around New York still, and for that matter all around New England, maybe the Red Sox catch a break because it rains the next night, and Game 7 is postponed from Sunday to Monday night. And at some point, John McNamara comes to you and says, you got enough rest. You pitch Game 5, but you can go on 3 days rest and pitch Game 7, right?
Sunday night is after the game had been called sometime before we went to bed. I was actually talking to my wife about this the other night, and we went out to dinner, and we kind of had a suspicion that it was a possibility. So we went out to dinner, and we didn't walk around the city. We just went right back just in case the phone call did come. Then I could get my rest and get into my routine. And Mac called and told me, and so I started my pregame routine, getting ready to go.
How well did you sleep?
I slept all right, actually. I mean, I was, once I got, Game 1 was the one for me. Once I got on the mound, everything clicked for me. It just all of a sudden seemed normal. Once the media cleared off the field and all the energy of that, it just became pretty comfortable for me. So I wasn't overwhelmed. I mean, it's what you grow up as, throwing the ball against the wall as a kid. It's Game 7, you're always pitching, and here's my chance. So I was having some fun.
Bruce had pitched brilliantly in the World Series to that point, but you figure he still has Oil Can Boyd to come out of the bullpen. But as it turns out, no, because Oil Can did not take the news especially well and drowned his sorrows in a way that rendered him incapable of performing in Game 7. Here's McNamara on that.
Story goes, he had some alcohol before Game 7, and you didn't think he was in no position to go out there and take the ball.
Well, you said it, I didn't, but that's the exact reason.
But you know, if strategically, Tom, if Roger Clemens was available for an inning or two, as he to this day says that he was, and if Oil Can Boyd had been prepared to pitch, then Game 7 might have played out differently.
There's no question. I mean, you're talking about 2 valuable arms. We think of Game 7 as an all-hands-on-deck game. Yeah. Starting pitcher, relief pitcher, doesn't matter. Everybody's in the bullpen, spikes on. And we've heard Calvin say that Roger was there, ready to go, not called upon for whatever reason. And now we hear about Oil Can Boyd, not called upon for a reason that John McNamara has spelled out.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium on an overcast night. Field conditions less than ideal. We're joined by Mets manager Davey Johnson. How are the Mets as mutters?
Well, we played on a lot of fields worse than this, so I don't think the field's going to come into play. It's really in pretty good shape.
All right, lineup changes tonight. You're going with Tuffle and Mitchell, Dykstra and Backman, a couple of your spark plugs sitting down. Now, Tuffle's had his problems in the field. Are you concerned about the pressure tonight on Tuffle?
Not really. He's been in there against all left-handers all year long, and I'm not going to change it now. And certainly he's hit Bruce Hurst as good as anybody on the ball club.
All right, Darryl Strawberry was very upset about being taken out game number 6 with your double shift and had some strong words to say about it. What's your reaction?
Well, I want all my players really to not want to come out of a ball game, but in that particular case, you know, he's not thinking as a manager. He's thinking as a right fielder and with some, you know, self-centered ideas about it. But if he gets a few more years in the big leagues, then he might become a little managerial material.
Oh, I see. All right, 10 seconds or less. With the rain out yesterday, I would take it you would have preferred playing right away, coming off the emotional victory while the Red Sox were down following the miracle of Game 6.
No doubt about it. And plus, we'd rather have gone against Oil Can Boyd, a right-hander, and I could have gone with my stronger lineup, but we'll take it.
All right, it will be against Bruce Hurst tonight, and there will be baseball played here at Shea, and it will be the final game of the 1986 season.
7 of the 1986 World Series is brought to you by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. By Aetna, the insurance people. Work with the best in the business. By the new Kodacolor VRG film with color as realistic as the color of life. And by Toyota, who offers you a full line of 1987 cars and trucks. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, and welcome to Game 7. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. That was the beginning of the tale of two cities, and in a few hours, that will be the story of the 1986 World Series. Saturday night, the Boston Red Sox tangled with ghosts of Christmas past, and the New York Mets swear that they saw the craggy visage of Casey Stengel rubbing his leathery face, winking his eye, and saying, amazing. Boston had to think the rains of yesterday were providential, and tonight it will be Bruce Hurst going against Ron Darling. The Mets push 115 blue chips to the middle of the table, their winnings for the year, and the Sox counter with 102. As we said, it'll be the best of times for one city and the worst of times for the loser. Let's meet the fellas who make the ball clubs click. Don Baylor and Keith Hernandez. We'll go to Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Vin. It's all been said. It's all been written. Now what, Don?
I couldn't agree with you more. It's come down to playing in between the white lines, see who the best team in baseball is, and that's the way it should be. The 7th game of the World Series should decide that, and that's what it's going to decide tonight. And it's just too bad it's going to be a loser, the Mets or the Red Sox, but I hope I'm on the winning side.
It's all been written. It's all been said. Now what?
Well, someone's going to win tonight. This is Game 7. I've been in this spot before. Someone's going to come out on top. It's a shame that one team has to lose. It's been a series where we've come from behind. The game the other night was very uplifting for us, obviously. We got our two best pitchers. The two best pitchers of the series are going. It's going to be a great 7th game. Hopefully we'll come out on top.
Good luck to you, Keith.
Thanks, Joe.
Now what? The only answer is the game. We'll have that right after these messages.
Set your sights on the best in baseball. Order the 1986 World Series program. There are more than 100 pages of articles and photographs making the World Series program a real collector's item. Send $6 check or money order to World Series program, P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Includes your proper return address. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Right now, moments before the first pitch, it's the traditional first ball throwing. And a switch on it tonight as we go to Game 7. The president of the Red Sox, Mrs. Jean Yawkey, the chairman of the board of the New York Mets, Nelson Doubleday, with Nelson throwing the ball to Rich Gedman and Mrs. Yawkey throwing the ball to Gary Carter. Now let's get to the lineup. For the Red Sox, no changes. Wade Boggs leading off at third and Marty Barrett at second base. Bill Buckner will be at first and Jim Rice in the cleanup spot in left. Dwight Evans in right field. He'll be followed by Rich Gedman behind the plate. Dave Henderson in center field. Rich Owen at shortstop, and the pitcher will be Bruce Hurst. Here's the way the Mets stack up defensively.
And there are some changes. Kevin Mitchell is in left field. Mookie Wilson is in center field. Strawberry is in right field, as you heard McNamara say. Dykstrom, Backman are out of the lineup. The infield, Knight, Santana, Tuffle, Hernandez, Carter behind the plate, and Ron Darling on the mound.
Ron Darling, a 15-game winner during the year, is 1-1 in the World Series. He was 1-0 in the playoffs. And as you might remember, in the series, he has not allowed an earned run to Boston in 14 consecutive innings. Wade Boggs, Marty Barrett, and Bill Buckner, and here we go. Ball one. John Kibler, Jim Evans, Harry Wendelstedt, Joe Brinkman working the lines, with Ed Montague and Dale Ford on the foul line. Right. One and one. Boggs backing out as an airplane flies overhead. We should have a lot evidently, for the first time, will bring planes almost constantly directly over Shea. 1-1. Ball 2. There is no breeze to speak of. The flag hanging limply in center field.
Remember, that's how Hernandez, he figures that the breeze when they're overhead blows to left field.
Now back, 2-2. So on a somewhat breathless night in New York, it's the final game of the year. 2-2 to Boggs. Ball 3.
Darling doesn't have any trick pitches. It's a fastball, a curve. He does have that split finger fastball, but he does not throw it hard. He kind of uses it as an off-speed pitch.
So 3-2, the count to Wade Boggs. Line drive at Santana. So Wade Boggs hits it right on the button, but right at Santana. 1 down. And second baseman Marty Barrett coming up. Barrett is hit in all 6 with 4 RBIs. On deck, Bill Buckner. Ball 1. Walt Reniak coaching at first. Rene Latchman around at third for Boston. In there. One of the things that has bothered the Red Sox considerably throughout the series, leaving men on base. It's interesting, they have left 63 men on. If they leave 9 more tonight, they will have tied a World Series record of 72 established by the Mets back in 1973.
What might be a factor, too, is Mookie Wilson in center field then plays very shallow as compared to Dykstra.
1-1. In there. They're yelling Marty. So the chants begin early tonight. And that's hit in the air to shallow right field, but Strawberry is there. Two down in the first inning, and here is Bill Buckner. He is getting, in some areas, a standing ovation, but you can understand the reasoning behind it. Two down, bases empty, first inning, no score. On deck, Jim Rice. Strike, outside corner. Now the chant is Billy, Billy. Breaking ball, ground foul, and the count 0-2.
Just on the strength of what we've seen, it seems like Carter and Darling have picked the fastball, the one that tails away, as the best pitch so far. He's really spotted it. That's the first breaking ball he's thrown.
0-2 to Buckner. Ball 1. And there's a hopper into right field. Base hit for Buckner. So a 2-out single to right by Bill Buckner will bring up Jim Rice.
Seemed to reach for it and just plugs the gap between first and second.
Interesting, too, looking at that, Buckner, as he was swinging, Hernandez started to go the other way. I think Keith was expecting the ball to be pulled between him and the bag as opposed to in the hole. And here is Rice. Out in front of it, he was guessing fastball, and the count 0-1. in the dirt, knocked down by Carter. And of course, Buckner's not about to gamble on the base path.
And Carter did a good job of shifting. He's ready to move. Just the tip of the glove got it, and as long as you keep that ball in front of you, no one is going to move, especially Buckner.
Fouled away off first base out of play. Came inside, hit him on the thumbs.
Rice is using that choked up grip that he's gone to just a bit, and when you ask him about it, there you see it. He says, I just want to drive the ball. I want to hit it hard. I'm quicker with the bat when I choke up a little bit.
And that's line to right. Strawberry going to his left, backhands it. No runs, one hit, a man left at the end of half an inning. Sox nothing, Mets coming up. Dykstra and Backman sit down, so the Mets line up with Wilson, Tuffle, and Hernandez, Carter, Strawberry, and Knight, Mitchell, Santana, and Darling. And Bruce Hurst, a 13-game winner during the year, 3-0 in postseason games, a brilliant earned run average of 1.7. And a ground ball to the right side to Marty Barrett. One pitch, one away.
Take a look at the defense for the Red Sox. Rice, Henderson, and Evans in the outfield. It's the same as it's been. Boggs, Owen, Barrett, Buckner, Gedman behind the plate, and Bruce Hurst with that good curveball, that big overhand curveball. He changes speeds on it, a fork ball and a fastball, and he has been using them all.
Hurst has had trouble with the hitter coming up, Tim Tuffle. Tuffle is 4 for 7 against Hurst, including 2 singles, a double, and a home run. You might remember the home run went to right field in Fenway Park. Tim, whose era contributed heavily to the winning run scoring in Game 1. 4-1. Following Tuffle, Keith Hernandez. Popped in the air on the right side, and it's Marty Barrett.
As a ball club, if you're the Red Sox, you're looking for a strong inning from your pitcher, much like Darling gave the Mets, and so far that's what Hurst has done.
And with 2 out, here's Keith Hernandez. Another interesting aspect to the game tonight, it is conceivable that the long man, the so-called long man in the bullpen tonight, would be Dwight Gooden for the Mets and Dennis Oil Can Boyd for the Red Sox.
And Roger Clemens said before the game, just talking to him, he showed me where he had the blister. He said, I can go if they need me.
Gooden looking on with Santana and Howard Johnson in the dugout. Ball 1 to Keith Hernandez. Hernandez, a member of the '82 Cardinal Club that was down 3 games to 2 and won it. And he's trying to repeat it. You can see him shaking his head as another plane flies overhead.
They really sound like they're low. I can see where your concentration would be broken.
One ball and no strikes. Breaking ball, strike, and the count 1-1. Bruce Hurst, if you throw out the last start he made, that was a game after the Red Sox had clinched, you get an indication of how well he's been pitching. That's line to center. Henderson will flag it, and the inning is over. Hurst has made 11 consecutive quality starts, and at the end of an inning, no score.
Center field and deep and carrying and gone. Was just off his glove for a home run.
High fly ball into pretty deep right field. Back goes Evans on the track at the wall. Leaps, he can't get it. Home run for Dykstra. And what a picture Evans paints in right field.
He got that ball inside. He got the other one outside. He missed the strike, and he gets this one inside, and the little guy just turns on it and pumps it into the seats.
And all you really have to do is look at Dwight Evans for the whole story. It's worth more than 1,000 words. The almost hypnotic stare of Jim Rice. If he looks back, he thinks about the '75 World Series where he had a broken hand and failed to play. And of course, he's been looking ahead, trying to figure it out ever since Saturday morning. Talking to Tony Armas.
Just watching him, looked like he was talking about going the other way, an inside-out swing, and Armas seemed to be talking about the defense the Mets were using against Rice.
Remember, in the first inning, the Sox hit the ball pretty hard. Boggs went the other way and lined to Santana. Rice went the other way and lined to Strawberry. Buckner pulled for a base hit to right. Barrett flied to right. Here's Dwight Evans, Rich Gedman, and then Dave Henderson. Second inning, no score. Breaking ball up, ball one. Fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little late on that one, too, and the count 1-2 to Dwight Evans. Sinker missed.
It's pretty apparent very early that Darling's going to go with that sinker, that good hard fastball that he's throwing, because a couple times that Gary's put down the breaking ball, he just shakes it off.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Dwight Evans. Fouled at the plate.
That's the way it looks to the hitter, and there's the rotation.
Dwight just did get a piece of it, and the count stays 2-2. Fastball missed. So he goes all the way. High drive into deep left center field. That one might go all the way. It is gone. Home run, Dwight Evans.
It was a fastball, and Evans really jumped on it. He was a little bit out in front on that ball he fouled off, but this one, with the swing, he timed it perfectly and drove it a long way.
Dwight Evans' second home run of the series and his 7th run batted in, and it's the Red Sox who score first and lead 1-0. The batter will be the left-hand hitting catcher Rich Gedman after we take one more look. And of course, Evans, a great low ball hitter, and he got that ball down around the knees. Ball 1 to Gedman. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Dwight Evans with a big home run to the back row of the bleachers in left center. Gedman fouls it away, and the count 1-2.
They've been making Gedman chase the bad ball, changing speeds on him. It'll be interesting to see what Carter and Darling do with this pitch. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's got that split finger. Maybe try to bounce one up, then see what happens.
And as you can see, things come tumbling down.
Well, they're portable stands, and obviously when the foul ball gets there, everybody leans, and there it goes. Fortunately, it doesn't appear anybody got hurt.
Okay, the wall has been secured, and here is Gedman with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's a drive into right center field. Strawberry going back to the wall. At the wall, leaps in the air. One hands it. No, he missed it. The right hand of Dale Ford started up and then circled to indicate home run. And Strawberry coming with an inch. It's gone, and the Sox lead 2-0.
We've seen a number of these plays. He gets the glove on it. His glove is over the fence. It looks like he's going to rob Gedman as he finds the fence of the home run. He gets above it. It hits the glove, and then his arm appears to hit the fence. Over it goes. He was looking for it and realizes he doesn't have it. We saw Henderson do that in the playoffs. We saw Dwight Evans do it, and now here's Strawberry.
So it is 2-0 Boston on back-to-back home runs by Dwight Evans and Rich Gedman. The batter is Dave Henderson, who takes ball 1. For Ron Darling, his string of consecutive scoreless innings ends shockingly after 15.
Strawberry really thought he had that, but
so did I.
He grabbed nothing.
Foul back. 2-1 to count. This was the non-catch of Dwight Evans in Boston. Got his glove on it, arm hits the wall, and out it goes. So we've seen that 3 times. Henderson, Evans, and now Strawberry. 2-1. 3-1. So the Red Sox hit the ball hard in the first inning, and they hit 2 out in the second inning. And there's ball 4 to Henderson. Darling has now walked 10 men in the series, and Mel Stottlemyre going out to talk to him to see if he can find the solution. Spike Owen will be the batter. Nobody out.
Pretty apparent why Stottlemyre's going out there, just to settle him down, because back-to-back home runs, and hey, that'll get you to thinking, it'll get you to aiming, and all Stottlemyre wants to do is, hey, look, okay, so they got the 2 runs. Let's get settled down here and go back to work. You could see by the reaction on Gedman's home run that it was a bit of a shocker as far as Darling was concerned. Strawberry looked like he was going to make the play. He gets there. He knows exactly where the fence is. He gets above it, off his glove, and then he looks in his glove. He thought he had it. Oh, he says, but it's a home run.
Ron Darling gave up 21 home runs during the regular year, so he's stung back-to-back. And now with Henderson on and nobody out, Spike Owen is the batter.
Knight cheating in at third base. And with Owen, they can certainly put a play on because he can handle that bat.
And for the historian, the last time, 1981, Guerrero and Yeager of Ron Guidry, Dodgers versus Yankees. And that's a little pop fly to Santana. 1 out in the top of the second inning, 2-0 Boston, and Bruce Hurst coming up. Hurst, you remember, and he was very good-natured about it, in taking his at-bats here against Darling, struck out 3 times. In fact, the last time he came up in that game, there were a couple of runners aboard, and he said Gary Carter and the plate umpire were laughing, and Hurst said, hey, be serious up here. They laughed some more as he struck out a 3rd time. But the Mets now are not looking laughs, they're looking bunt. And there it is. And it's overrun by Knight, picked up and thrown by Darling for the out. Knight looked back at the turf as if it had done him wrong, and he can be happy that Darling backed him up.
He's charging so hard, it could have been a routine, easy play for him, and he elects to go one hand with it, and it takes a little bit of a bad bounce. Remember earlier we talked about it. The ground crew did a great job in getting this field ready, but they really had to put a lot of topsoil, extra sod on it because of what they did when they clinched it. And Darling, a good fielder as a pitcher, backing up to play, and they get their man at first.
If you're scoring, Knight did not touch the ball. It is basically a 1-4 sacrifice. And now here's Wade Boggs. Henderson at second. 2 runs in, 2-0 Boston. Boggs lined out to Santana in the first inning. Right.
If you were just looking at the defense, you would say they're not going to give Boggs anything slow to hit. They'll show it to him. Look how far over Hernandez is. They expect him to hit from center field to the left field line. It looks like they're going to try to make him hit that sinker.
0-1. Amazing tribute to Marty Barrett, the kind of a series he's having. Pitching carefully to Boggs with 2 out, and Marty Barrett on deck. One and 1. Ball 2. Henderson, the way the infield is, the only man who might bird dog him at all is Tim Tuffle, and he's far away. So you can look at the infield dirt and you can see where Henderson is winding up. He is taking a lead of almost 45 feet before he stops. 2 and 2. Mark on the runway, you could just about measure it. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out to Boggs, 2 in.
This is his favorite count, and Darling's been throwing that sinker the outside part of the plate.
And as a hopper by the diving Santana, Mookie's going to come up throwing, but Henderson, because of that big lead, will score easily. And it is 3-0 Boston.
With 2 men out, he's able to get that big lead. And the scouting report, and talking to Frank Malzone and Sam Mealy, they're going to run on the Met outfielders. Santana tries to knock it down to keep it in the infield, but there was no way that Henderson was going to slow up. As soon as that ball gets to the outfield, the scouts told him, take off.
It's still kind of amazing when you realize it. With a runner in scoring position at 2 out, they pitch to the major league's leading hitter. And he drives in the run.
He may have widened that zone a little bit as we watch Henderson score to knock in that run.
And here is Marty Barrett. Strike. Barrett flied to right in the first inning. And Barrett bunts up along third. It's staying on the grass. Base hit.
Once it grabbed that grass, it was going to stay there. It looked like for a minute it was going to get to the dirt part. Had it gotten there, it would have rolled foul. There's no way that would stay fair once it hits the dirt. But when it grabs that grass, now right about there, looked like it was going to go foul. But once it hit the grass, it's almost like little fingers, like octopus grass. He just held it. And Marty Barrett, say what you want. There he goes again. He's in the middle of it for the big guys.
And left-hander Sid Fernandez loosening up. 2 on, 2 out. And Bill Buckner becomes the 8th man to come to the plate in the second inning. Buckner singled to right in the first inning. And that's going to be hit to left center, but Mookie on his horse and flags it down. However, the Red Sox get 3 and lead 2. And at the end of an inning and a half, the Red Sox 3 and the Mets nothing.
The payoff pitch. Well hit fly ball deep to left center, way back, way up there, going and gone. A home run, Dwight Evans. The Red Sox in front, 1-0. Oh, he hit that a ton to deep left center field. Way back into the pavilion. The Red Sox are on top. Now the windup by Darling, the pitch on the way. High fly, deep to right center, way back. Strawberry to the wall, jumping, and he caught it. No! Couldn't get it. It's a home run. It is a home run. I thought for a moment Strawberry had made the catch. May have hit his glove and skipped over the wall. Back-to-back home runs off Ron Darling.
The importance of this play, if Strawberry had held onto the ball, the Red Sox would have scored 1 and not 3.
This ball is out of the strike zone that Boggs hits. He really widens the zone. And watch, Mookie is in shallow, but it's what Malzone and Mealy were talking about. Run on Mookie, but you can see Henderson was only about 2 steps past third base. So the scouting report really helped score that run.
3-0 Boston. Gary Carter to start it off, and he bunts. Down to get it is Hurst. Full turn, and the throw got him.
And that's the best fastball Hurst has thrown in 3 games. He really reared back and pumped that one because the bunt was a good one. And with Boggs back, Mets are trailing by 3. You expect Carter to really take a big cut. He catches everybody except Hurst by surprise, and does this big guy crank a fastball? Look at that.
So Carter nipped it first on the bunt, one away, and Darryl Strawberry the batter. Ball one.
And Vin, with that pitch, Hurst has only made 11 pitches, and he's got 4 outs.
1 ball and no strikes. High fly ball into shallow left. Jim Rice has plenty of time to get there. Darryl Strawberry now 0 for his last 10 here, dating back to Game 3 of the playoffs with Houston. 2 down, and Ray Knight the batter. Boston 3, Mets nothing in the second. 2 down, bases empty. On deck, Kevin Mitchell. Fastball and a one-hopper into center. Base hit for Knight. The Ray bangs one up the middle with 2 down, and Kevin Mitchell coming up.
Here's a pitch that Ray Knight hits. It looked like a fastball. It was a fastball. Got a 3-run lead. Hurst, he wants to stay away from the base on balls. He challenged Knight, and he lost.
Kevin Mitchell with Rafael Santana on deck. Bruce Hurst is trying to win his 3rd game of the World Series, and that doesn't happen very often. It has happened 12 times in history, but only 4 times since 1920. Harry Brackeen, Lou Burdette, Bob Gibson, Mickey Lolich. Check swing and a roller wide to first to Buckner. He will do it himself. So the Mets no runs a hit. They leave 1. It's 3-0 Boston at the end of 2. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
But Ethel. Oh, wait a minute, honey bunch. Yeah, I know I was going to see you downtown, but I got to meet Ricky. All right, I might as well tell you the truth. I'm going to the ball game. You want to go too? Oh, boy. It's a wonderful game. It's a game for the whole family. So let's all forget our worries and have fun at the ball game whenever we can get to one. What do you say? Let's go.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The Red Sox got the most out of the second inning to enjoy a 3-0 lead. Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, and Rich Gedman coming up now against Ron Darling. And the curveball is whacked to left. Going back on the ball is Mitchell, and it short hops the wall. Rice for 2. The throw in. They got him.
Mitchell knows the ball's over his head. He plays the carom just perfectly, and keeping with the motif of running on the outfielders, Mitchell uncorks a strong throw, and Tuffle makes the tag on Rice. Look at Wendelstedt on both knees making that call. You talk about being in position.
So a base hit to left at the base of the left field wall. 7-4 of your scoring from Kevin Mitchell to Tim Tuffle.
That was your classic hanging curveball.
Boy,
it just hung up there.
Breaking ball up. Dwight Evans the batter. And it is apparent in the early going from the moment that Wade Boggs opened the game with the line drive at Santana that it is a shaky start for Ron Darling, although there is no one throwing in the bullpen.
He's only had 1 pitch going for him so far. It's been that hard sinker, and he's really had to spot it because when he got to Evans, he was sitting on it and boomed it.
There's a breaking ball lifted to straightaway, shallow center. Mookie Wilson there. 2 down.
Now coming to the plate.
That'll bring up Rich Gedman, who hit the home run in and out of Darryl Strawberry's glove in the second inning and turned it from a 1-run inning to a 3-run inning. And you might remember throughout the series we told you how Darling and Gedman battled each other in high school. And finally Gedman has hit one. Strike. On deck, Dave Henderson.
Never seen so many players with that stubble like we got now. Hernandez didn't shave. Gedman hasn't shaved.
It's the Sampson theory, I guess. Ground ball back at first. Keith will bring it to the bag. So thanks to the strong and accurate throw of Kevin Mitchell, the Sox are gone in order. And at the end of 2.5, 3-0 Boston. We're going to the bottom of the 3rd inning at Shea Stadium in New York. The Red Sox 3, the Mets nothing. Rafael Santana will start it off. Then Ron Darling and Mookie Wilson. And of course all that went down like broken glass in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. During the regular season, the Mets gave left-handers a bad time, but not in the World Series against Bruce Hurst. Ball 2. In the regular season, they beat left-handers 27 times and lost to them only 11. It's better than 700 ball. In there. 2-1. So Hurst trying for his place in the history books, and the Mets trying to come back. Fouled off. 2-2. After that pitch, and down he goes. So Santana becomes strikeout number 1 for Bruce Hurst.
Looked like a breaking ball. It was not that big overhand curveball that he throws. It could have been that fork ball. It broke down off speed. When he throws that slow, big breaking curveball, he really gets those hitters out in front.
There is Ron Darling. And he drives one to right and deep. Evans was shallow. He's on the track to make the catch. And Darling, who is considered a pretty good hitting pitcher, takes Hurst a long way. 2 down. Now Mookie Wilson will use up a little time to let Darling get back to the dugout. Mookie grounded out. First ball swinging. He rolled it to Marty Barrett, leading off the 1st inning. Fastball hit to right. Evans going back. Full turn. Makes the play. So Mookie takes him deep, but they're gone in order are the Mets, and at the end of 3, Red Sox 3, Mets nothing. You don't really have to be a crowd psychologist to realize the spirit of the crowd that was at fever pitch when they were chanting when Marty Barrett was hitting. That sing-song is gone. Now they're sitting quietly as the Sox took that 3-0 lead in the 2nd inning. If you are a statistician, it might be interesting to note the crowd perhaps has the same feeling as you have. During the regular year, the Mets won 80% of the games that they scored first in, and they're 3-0 in games in which they scored first in postseason. But it's the Sox on top 3-0, and here's Dave Henderson. He walked and came around to score in the 2nd inning. Then Owen and Hurst. And hit him. So Henderson trots to first with nobody out. Owen coming up.
And by comparison, as far as the number of pitches, as we watch Henderson get drilled, Darling has made 57 pitches. He had 55 after 3 innings. Hurst in 3 innings, 29 pitches.
So Darling, a shaky early going and a strong performance by Bruce Hurst. And you have Owen, Hurst, and Boggs coming up. Sid Fernandez is up for the 2nd time in the Mets bullpen, although Darling did have his at-bat in the 3rd inning. Though it is Fernandez they look to in the early going and not Dwight Gooden. Spike Owen popped to short in the 2nd inning. Little pop fly to Rafael Santana.
Knight is really looking for bunt in tight at 3rd.
And instead, he hits it right at Strawberry. One away, Henderson holding, and Bruce Hurst, who sacrificed in the second inning, no doubt has to do it again here in the fourth.
And the third baseman Knight and first baseman Hernandez setting up the defense. As we saw the last time, Knight really charged hard. The ball got by him, and Hernandez, who, as always, he sets up whether he's going to come charging in or come in a couple steps and go back on a particular pitch. He'll be 2-3 pitches into the hitter Hurst, but Knight is already in about 5 steps. It's going to be a tough job for Hurst to get him over.
And if Hurst does get him over, once again, Davy Johnson will have to wonder about even pitching at all to Boggs. Never mind, don't give him anything good to hit. He hit a ball off his ankles for a base hit and an RBI. There's the bunt, and Knight has to go to first. Now let's see what they do with Boggs.
And it can't be that situation that so many times you hear when you go out on a conference on the mound is don't give him any ball to hit.
Davy Johnson on his way, and he's making a hook right now. So Sid Fernandez is going to be called in from the Mets bullpen, and Ron Darling has had it. So they pitched to Boggs in the second inning, and he burned them. He will not be burned again, and Darling is gone. 3-0 Boston. Ron Darling went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, a walk, and a hit batter. And of course, the runner at second base, Dave Henderson, is also his responsibility. Sid Fernandez will be coming in, making his 3rd appearance of the World Series. He's worked 4 1/3 innings, an earned run average of 2. It is a calculated gamble, sending Fernandez head-to-head with the leadoff man Wade Boggs. Sid has an above-average fastball. He is considered, however, a poor fielder. Wade Boggs against Darling, lined out to short, and then when they pitched to him, even though Darling threw a ball that was somewhere between the ankles and the knees, Boggs went right down after it and singled to center for an RBI.
And it's no great secret that Boggs really waits a long time before he turns that bat loose. And if you think he does that against right-handed pitching, it's a little bit more, it seems like, against left-hand pitching. He usually takes him to the opposite field, and they'll set the defense up accordingly.
So Sid Fernandez, who pitched very, very well, impressively, in fact, in relief of Dwight Gooden. That was in the Hurst game at Fenway Park. Now going head-to-head with Wade Boggs. 4-1. Again, we are watching Henderson. He had such a big lead in the second inning. He was almost halfway to third as the pitcher was delivering the ball, and yet he knows he can get back to the bag. You see him run right out of your picture.
And once again, Mookie in center field is far more shallow than Dykstra would be as we look at Henderson. Look how shallow he is in left center field. And they'll take off on the base hit.
2-0. Fouled off. 2-1. In there. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out to Wade Boggs. Henderson at second. Spun the curveball. 3-2.
He made sure that thing wasn't close, though.
And this time in under the hands to put him on. So Boggs walks, and that'll bring up Marty Barrett. And for Davy Johnson, he opted to pitch to Boggs. It cost him a run in the second. Then he made the move to take Darling out and bring in Fernandez, and he still lost Boggs on the walk. Barrett flied to right and had the bunt single in the second inning. Marty is 1 for 2. Ray Knight very deep at third. He is not looking for Barrett to do it again. Not with 2 on and 2 out. Right.
They just moved Mitchell over. Mitchell was playing Barrett as if to pull, and Mookie Wilson, as you can see, the defense is way over in right center field. A lot of room in left center field. They're stacking it on the right side. They expect him to hit that way. Then it'll be up to Fernandez to keep that ball in that outside part of the plate.
Curveball hit to Strawberry. So the Sox lead 2. They have left 5. And at the end of 3.5 innings, the Red Sox 3, the Mets nothing. 3-0 Boston, bottom of the 4th. And the Mets trying to get something started with Tim Tuffle, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. They have just 1 hit, a single to center by Ray Knight, and that came with 2 out in the 2nd inning. Of course, if you remember Saturday night in that wild game, the Mets were no-hitted for the first 4 innings. One ball, 1 strike.
That's the first big curveball that he's thrown, where he really rainbows it up there.
And followed by the fastball for a strike. 1-2. And another fastball, and the count remains 1-2. He joined us late in the 2nd inning. The Red Sox had back-to-back home runs by Dwight Evans and Rich Gedman. Gedman's ball in and out of Strawberry's glove. Henderson walked, and a 2-out single by Boggs made it 3-0. And a big overhand pitch takes care of him. For Hurst, his 2nd strikeout.
He's got 3 pitches, and he's not afraid to go to any of them. He just changed speeds on the breaking ball. He's way out in front.
So 1 down in the 4th. Keith Hernandez, the batter, hit the ball hard, but at Dave Henderson in the 1st inning. One ball and no strikes. In there at the knees. 1-1.
Seems like Hernandez has made up his mind to hit up the middle in Saturday's game. Fly ball to center field, single to center, fly ball to center field. His first time up, a line drive. He tomahawked it to center field. Appears that when you do that, you're just hanging in there a little bit longer.
1-1. And the curveball is hit to right center. Evans is digging to make the catch. The Dwight Evans has made 3 of the last 4 putouts.
That was a slow curveball, and you can see Hernandez really wait for the break and then jump all over it and hit it hard, but Evans was there to make the play.
Here's Gary Carter, who led off the 2nd inning and tried to bunt his way aboard.
Watch the curveball, and he just hits it very hard, but Evans been very busy. Really almost made it a routine play.
Ball 1 to Gary Carter. And he hits that pitch over to Marty Barrett. And so Carter is gone. The Mets are gone. And that's 7 in a row retired by Bruce Hurst. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
The Mets won again last night, despite Gary Carter's embarrassing error in the 4th inning when he missed a routine pop foul.
Routine?
For more colorful baseball coverage, read New York Newsday with special playoff and World Series bonus pages.
Routine.
And a daily scorecard to let you catch every pitch. Carter made a weak throw to second base in the bottom of the 5th inning.
What?
But the All-Star slugger redeemed himself in the 6th when he smacked a single. Pick up a copy and see for yourself. The playoffs and World Series are more colorful in New York Newsday.
Gedman is the 4th man in the inning, but here's what Fernandez did against Gedman in Boston. When they talk about climbing the ladder with a fastball, watch this. That was about letter high. Now here's the 2nd strike, a little bit higher. Now you got him set up. Here's the 3rd one. He just climbed it perfectly.
Well, we'll see when Rich comes up. He's due to bat 4th in the inning. Just first how Fernandez pitches him again and whether Gedman has learned anything. Bill Buckner single to right and lined out to center. 1 for 2. Right. 3-0 Boston. Top of the 5th inning. Buckner, Rice, and Evans. High fly ball to right field. Strawberry is there, looking up into that soup. 1 away.
as you watch Fernandez pitch, you got to know that his motion is a big part of his effectiveness. It seems like he falls forward after he releases the ball, but that really isn't the case.
When he pitched in the Dodger organization and briefly with the Dodgers, he curled up so much on the mound it really looked like he was throwing uphill. And the first thing Mel Stottlemyre did was make him stand a little more erect. Oh boy, you talk about a first ball fastball hitter being challenged. That was reduced to the fundamentals. Hit it.
He had it in a pretty good spot.
He struck Rice out in one inning of work of this year's All-Star game, and he has him 0-2.
I wonder if he'll do what he did with Gedman. That was about letter high, if he's going to climb that ladder with him.
0-2 to Jim. Got him. He just blew him away. That is the first Sox player to strike out, Jim Rice. And with 2 down, bases empty, the batter is Dwight Evans. It is 3-0 Boston, but when you look back at that second inning, if Strawberry had held on to the ball, it would be 1-0 Boston. Darrell unable to make the great catch. And the Sox turned it into a 3-run inning. Off speed for a strike. Evans, home run in the second inning, fly to center in the third. Spinner in there for a strike. 0-2.
He changed speeds on both pitches, the straight change, and then he took something off the curveball after just throwing nothing but fastballs at Jim Rice.
0-2. Got it. And that brings the crowd to its feet, and we'll see if a Mets pitcher can wake up the Mets hitters. 3-0 Boston. Because of its importance, here's another look at the great effort by Strawberry. He's gloved it, and it's popped out, and he looks in his mitt to find out it wasn't there. It would have taken a great play, and he came as close as you can come to making it. And now he leads it on. So Fernandez has awakened the crowd by striking out Rice and Evans. We'll see now as Strawberry leads on. Right. Strawberry flied to left in the second inning. 0-1 to Darrell.
And you can see that Hurst is giving it just a little bit extra. He wants to strike out here because he knows that that'll just stop a lot of things with a strikeout.
Ball 2. The most successful Mets hitter against left-handers is on deck, Ray Knight. Big overhand curve missed. Ball 3. You remember Saturday night, Strawberry had 2 big walks. High fly ball into right center, but Henderson says he has it, and he's true to his word. Long out, 1 away. The dimensions here, 338 down the lines to 358, 371, and then 396, and that was the neighborhood where Strawberry just hit it. 410 to straightaway center. But it's a graveyard out there, especially without any wind. But we saw both Evans and Gedman hit him out tonight in the second inning. Ray Knight singled for the Mets' only hit. Whether it's indicative of anything, it should be pointed out. The Mets have had some long drives by Darling, Wilson, Hernandez, and now Strawberry. 1 ball, no strike. In there. Kevin Mitchell on deck. Bouncer over the mound, charging Spike Owen. Gets him. It's 9 in a row, and it'll bring up Mitchell. Mitchell grounded to Buckner in the second inning. Fouled off. 0-1. Those who were there at the moment said in that wild madcap scene in the Mets dressing room following Saturday night's game, the one player who was completely calm was Kevin Mitchell. 1-1. It was Kevin who scored the run on the wild pitch. Ground foul to Buddy Harrelson, and the count 1-2. Bruce Hurst leading 3-0 in the fifth. Got him. And so whatever momentum built up in the top of the fifth when Rice and Evans struck out has been dampened considerably.
Gedman leads off, and remember we showed you our game within a game. The last time Fernandez pitched against him, it was high fastball, starting him about the letters and just kept climbing that ladder. Let's see what he does this time.
And remember too that Gedman has the reputation of being a high ball hitter.
Identical, right at the letters. See if he comes back a little bit higher.
No balls, 1 strike. Ron Darling went 3 2/3 innings, charged with 3 runs, 6 hits. 0-2.
So far, it looks like an instant replay.
Got him. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Sid Fernandez. Jim Rice and Dwight Evans in the fifth. Gedman to open up the sixth.
He didn't quite climb the ladder, but he stayed with his fastball, sidearmed him, made Gedman give a little bit, a tough pitch to hit, and he got the big strikeout.
Here's Dave Henderson, walked and hit by a pitch. Looking ahead, Sid Fernandez is due to be the second batter in the bottom of the 6th inning, but there is no one throwing in the Mets bullpen. Santana, Fernandez, and then Wilson are due up in the bottom of the 6th. 1 ball, no strikes.
He's got to be tough to pick up. He's one of those pitchers, I'm sure when they go back to the bench and say, hey, he's quicker than he looks. That ball's in on you before you know it.
1-1. High fly ball into shallow left center. Mookie says he'll have it. 2 down.
And now the shortstop, Spike Owen.
Here's what Fernandez looks like with that motion. You can see him really bearing down on the target. Looks away a little bit, and then he really takes a big stride and comes down. Looks like he releases the ball and then finishes, which has to be deceptive. It's a tricky motion.
He can be a remarkable pitcher. His high 14 strikeouts in a game. He has retired 6 in a row. A foul, out of play.
And Vinny's not trying to do it with trick pitches. He's just rearing back and firing.
1-1. Back 1-2. Crowd making the kind of noise it normally makes for Dwight Gooden. They want another strikeout. Off-speed curveball, got him looking. 4 strikeouts and 7 in a row.
Inning 5, Billy Buckner leading off against Sid Fernandez. high fly ball hit to right. Lazy fly. Strawberry easing in under it, makes the catch. And the right fielders are getting a lot of play in the game here tonight. Now Jim Rice, the batter, and he's 1 for 2. The pitch on the way by Sid. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Good fastball. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Swing and a miss, got him. Fernandez stands Jim Rice on 3 pitches. Here's Dwight Evans, the right fielder. And the pitch on the way. Strike call to the outside corner. Curve a strike on the inside corner. 2-strike delivery. Struck him out. Swinging. Sid Fernandez turns the crowd on. Fanning Jim Rice and Dwight Evans. Red Sox are gone in the 5th inning. Nothing across. Now the 6th inning at Shea Stadium in Game 7 of the World Series. Rich Gedman, Dave Henderson, and Spike Owen come to bat against Sid Fernandez, who relieved the starter, Ron Darling. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Swing and a miss, high hard one. Strike 3, fastball to the outside corner. 3 strikeouts in a row for Sid Fernandez. And it brings up center fielder Dave Henderson. High pop fly into shallow left center. Calling for the ball, Mookie Wilson waiting, and Mookie puts it away for the out. So now there are 2 away and nobody on at the top of the 6th inning. And to the plate will come Spike Owen. Strike call to the inside corner. 4 strikeouts for Sid Fernandez. He was brilliant in relief. Probably is through now. He's due to bat. No runs, no hits, nobody left. In the middle of the 6th inning at Shea, Boston 3 and New York nothing.
We talked about Hurst and his ability to control that strike zone, the location. Watch what he does to Mitchell when he strikes him out. Just pay attention to where the pitches are. This is a fastball. He fouls it off. Fastball low, fouls it off. Breaking ball in the same spot, strikes him out. It looked like the fastball. Last minute she darts in, and although he had a good cut, didn't come close to hitting it.
If you wonder about the Mets in the bottom of the 6th inning, they are going for the pinch hitter. Lee Mazzilli is on deck to bat for Sid Fernandez. And Roger McDowell is in the bullpen. Strike 1 to Rafael Santana. Of course, it was Mazzilli who appeared as the pinch hitter in the 8th inning Saturday night and scored a run that tied up the game. 1-1. Santana struck out in the 3rd inning, and there's Roger McDowell along with Vern Hochheit. Fastball, and it's hit up the middle behind the bag, and here comes Spike Owen to get him.
It looked like the ball was going to get through. Here it is from the center field camera. It's over the head of Hurst. And range is what makes this play on. Finishes up on the second base side and gets his man easily.
Buckner again coming to the mound now with Mazzilli up there. Hurst, by the way, is on a roll now. He has retired 11 in a row. The only time he has had to work out of his stretch was with 2 out in the 2nd inning, and Ray Knight had gotten a base hit. Ball 1. So Sid Fernandez worked 2 1/3 innings, and he gave the ball club a big lift from the mound by striking out 4 and retiring 7 in a row. And now Mazzilli batting for him. 1-0. Mookie Wilson on deck. Ball 2.
And Mazzilli, by faking the bunt, it looked like he was going to try to push it past the pitcher. At least drew Marty Baird in a couple steps at second base.
Strike. 2-1 to Lee. And it's hit over Buckner's head, foul down the line, and the count 2-2. Once again, we remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of this ball game. And that brings up another interesting note. Thinking that Saturday night would be the conclusion of the series, Bruce Hurst was already named the World Series Most Valuable Player. However, the Mets pulled off the miracle. Because of the rain, Hurst got another chance to pitch. And now he's really working for the award, just as they're working on that right field fence. 2-2. 1 out, 6th inning, 3-0 Boston. And it's hit to the hole. Base hit for Mazzilli. Successfully Saturday night as a pinch hitter and ignite his ball club. And Mookie Wilson, the batter.
Looked like a breaking ball. He was just trying to get a piece of it, and Mazzilli put it between the shortstop and third baseman, and he's on.
And John McNamara knows that Hurst has only allowed 2 hits, so he's not showing any concern. Wilson has gone the other way twice, grounded to Barrett and flied to right. They are not holding Mazzilli. Buckner is back of him, and now he has to run in front, consequently the collision. Now,
you see Buckner sneaking behind him, and Mazzilli just kind of bumps him. Not a bad play.
Line drive into left field. Base hit. And the Mets are alive with 1 out in the 6th, and Tim Tuffle coming up. Mazzilli at second, Wilson at first. 1 out in the 6th. Steve Crawford in the bullpen. 3-0 Boston. Tuffle has popped up to Barrett and struck out. Ball 1. On deck, Keith Hernandez. After retiring 11 in a row, Hurst gives up a single to pinch hitter Mazzilli and then to Mookie Wilson. Ball 2, a throw to first. He's in there. And barely. And Mookie might be a little hurt. His right arm. I think Buckner's knee got him as he was reaching for the bag. And evidently he's okay.
Gedman and Albie there play. He sidearms it, and Mookie just does get there. There you see the knee getting that right arm as Buckner was trying to block the base.
2 balls and no strikes to Tim Tuffle. Two and 1.
Took something off the pitch, way out in front.
Wilson at first, Mazzilli at second, 1 out. Hernandez on deck. Ball 3.
Somebody come in and just ask him how everything is.
Johnny Mac.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
It's time for the boss to make the visit. Keith Hernandez has lined out to center and flied deep to right. He'll be the hitter. And Steve Crawford waiting in the bullpen. bases are loaded, and I think they were talking about whether Hurst should pitch out of a stretch.
That's what he said, out of the stretch, all right. And they were just going over if the balls hit back to him to go to Gedman, but he was asking if it was all right to pitch off the stretch.
So here is Keith Hernandez. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th. 3-0 Boston. Mazzilli at third. Wilson at second. Tuffle at first. 1 out. Everybody up again at Shea. Strike. Big overhand slow curveball.
Oh, what a pitch that was. Everybody expecting strength against strength, and he pulled the string on that one.
0-1. Outfield straight away. Fastball hitting to left center field. Base hit. In comes Mazzilli. In comes Wilson. Stopping at third is Tuffle. 3-2 Boston. We're going to have a runner for Tim Tuffle. It's Wally Backman at third. So there's Wally Backman running for Tuffle. Hernandez at first, and Gary Carter with the tying run 90 feet away. Hit in the air to right field. Here comes Evans. It's gonna be caught. No, he didn't hold it. The run is in. However, Hernandez is tagged out by Spike Owen. Evans making a diving, smothering attempt, and we had to wait till Dale Ford indicated catch, and then no catch, and that's why Hernandez is hollering, "Why didn't you call it?"
It looked like he had it. It was a delayed call. He had it in the glove. You see it pop out. And as he turns, he sees that Hernandez is still at first base, and Keith really upset. And now Kibler explaining to him that he called it as soon as he can, but Hernandez is not buying it.
But he gets the hero greeting for driving in the 2 runs and setting up the tying run to score. It is 3-3 in this madhouse called Shea, and the batter is Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry 0 for 2, fly to left and fly deep to right center. Carter on a fielder's choice if you're scoring from Evans to Owen. 9-6.
You can see Carter saying, "Go on, the ball's on the ground," but it's too late.
Slicing fly ball to left. Rice coming up and makes the catch. Holding on to the slicer at the last second. But the Mets get 3 hits and 3 runs. And at the end of 6, a 3-3 tie. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Back to Game 7 of the World Series, bottom of the 6th now, 1 out, and up steps Lee Mazzilli, pinch hitting for Sid Fernandez, and facing Bruce Hurst.
Hurst, by the way, is on a roll now. He has retired 11 in a row.
Changeup.
Another big pinch hit for him. He was a key guy in this World Series.
He got a lot of big hits.
But that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He's done it for us all year.
And here you are, Mookie.
Yeah. This is what you don't know what this guy's going to do.
You couldn't hit a ground ball double play for me, could you? I think another changeup.
And you notice we pulled both of them.
Yeah.
You know what was funny about this whole situation? Even though we were down, we were still feeling pretty good. You know, it's not like we were down in the first 2 ball games where we were a little shaken, but we weren't shaken by this.
Right.
Well, now you lose Tuffle. There's McNamara conferring with Fisher, the pitching coach. The bases are loaded, and here's Hernandez.
This is the one pitch that I want back in the World Series. It was the one time where I kind of got between with Richie on what I wanted to do. It ended up being a 3-run pitch, if I remember right, and went to a fastball, got it up, and he hit it for a double. And I kind of had in my mind that I wanted to throw something soft at him because I knew he's a really good fastball hitter.
Is there anything you recall about this conversation here, Bruce? Obviously, he wants you in to stay left on Hernandez with Crawford in the bullpen.
I think that's what the conversation was. You know, I think he was out there kind of giving me a blow, kind of, you know, pump me up a little bit, telling me everything's all right. And, you know, I'm just one pitch away from getting out of this. He likes the matchup. And, you know, just go out and make a pitch here. You know, see if I can get, you know, kind of right the ship here.
Keith Hernandez had a key hit in the 7th game of the '82 World Series for the Cardinals when they were down against the Brewers, also against a left-hander, and he does it again.
High fastball.
Looked like he hit it almost off his shoulder.
It was up, yeah, and you know, it was just a pitch I was in between, and I had a changeup on my mind. It's a, you know, yeah, up and right down the middle. Neither of them are conducive to.
Keith is one of the opposite, usually with the left-handers.
Yes, yeah.
He's a high ball hitter, where most left-handers are
low
low
ball hitters, right?
He was very good ball up. Yeah. Very good with the ball up.
So that's the one pitch.
You score, Mazzilli scores ahead of you, Tuffle to third. Suddenly now it's 3-2, and here's Keith Hernandez with an explanation of that at bat.
The book on me was always inside. I knew that, and he threw me a big hook the first at bat, nasty one. I took it, and I just choked up an extra inch on the back because all was needed was a base hit. A sacrifice fly wasn't good enough.
All right, so that makes the score 3-2, and the next batter is Gary Carter.
Hit in the air to right field. Here comes Evans. It's gonna be caught. No, he didn't hold it. The run is in. However, Hernandez is tagged out by Spike Owen. Evans making a diving, smothering attempt, and we had to wait till Dale Ford indicated catch, and then no catch. And that's why Hernandez is hollering, why didn't you call it?
The ball's, he can't tell where the ball is, so it's just one of those things that happens. Yeah.
So your lead is gone. Red Sox get out of the inning, 3-3, but now it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, it's a whole new game, and you know, I think I remember telling Mac, he asked me how I felt, and I felt like that the part of the order that was coming up, I felt like I could get out, and I felt like I could go on, but you know, I was starting to tire. Seaver was on our team, and Seaver told me afterwards, you know, he said, you're starting to elevate the ball. It's a good choice. So, you know, the feeling you have to feel like you're going to get out. You don't want to come out of the game. Mm-hmm. And but you know, it was a decision that, you know, probably had to be made. I was starting to elevate.
Seaver was on the team, but not eligible to play in uniform in the dugout, but on the disabled list.
And should be known that for me personally, the World Series with Tom Seaver was made the experience phenomenal for me. It was like the University of Seaver every day. He had little one or two, you know, thoughts that he'd always ingrained in my mind between innings. He'd just make sure I stayed on point, didn't get too distracted, and it was really, really valuable for me. And, you know, between starts and watching other games, I'd sit by him and pick his brain and listen to little things, and you know, it made the experience even better for me personally.
Hernandez, an infield hit, a walk and a strikeout facing Vukovic. Ramsey now carrying the potential go-ahead run. One out, force at every base. The Brewer infield looking for the double play.
sensational one. Two former high school teammates, McClure and Hernandez, facing each other. 2 RBIs by Hernandez.
All on his birthday.
Backman who scored the tying run, a good piece of base running. You see him tagging up as soon as Evans leaves his feet. Backman's going in, so Evans' only play really is to second base. Barrett helping direct the play. Owen is there to make the tag, and Hernandez really upset because of the late call.
And if you would like to know about lightning striking twice, Pete Hernandez had a 2-run single in Game 7 in the 1982 World Series to tie the game 3-3. Tonight, he drove in 2 and set up the tying run. Tony Armas is coming up to bat for Bruce Hurst against the sinker baller Roger McDowell. And Roger will now be in 5 of the 7 games. He has no decision, an earned run average of 2.8. So Tony Armas will hit for Bruce Hurst. John McNamara hoping that Armas can do what Mazzilli did and light a fire leading off.
Then I just got word they put up the score at the Meadowlands where the Giants and Redskins are playing, and when they put up 3-3, the entire crowd started screaming, "Let's go Mets." I wonder what the football players were thinking.
Bruce Hurst, number 20,
Tony Armas missed 31 games during the year with ankle and thigh injuries. Of course, you remember he injured himself in Anaheim, and it actually helped the Red Sox win the pennant because Dave Henderson took over and performed some magic. And that got a little bit of John Kibler. Took a bite out of him. 0-1. The plate umpire, okay, but that hammered him.
They really are playing Armas to pull. Knight is guarding the line, or Santana's in the hole, and Mitchell is towards the line in left field. There you see it. They really expect to hit that ground ball. Look at Knight.
When you look at Tony Armas, 2 years ago, he led the majors in RBIs. This year, he was 8th on the Red Sox. Big chopper, foul ball. Well, they didn't think they could regroup and come up with another dandy after Saturday night, but there is Calvin Schiraldi, and we're 3-3 in the 7th inning. Sinker got him.
McDowell just rears back and throws his best pitch, which is the sinker. It starts at about the knees, tough to lay off, and when you try to chase it, it's out of the strike zone. But with 2 strikes, Armas was trying to get a piece of it.
Where's Boggs, who lined to short, hit one about at the ankles for a line drive base hit and a run batted in. Last time up, walk. Right. 3 runs, 6 hits for Boston. 3 runs, 4 hits for New York. Strike. Little chopper to third. Knight waits for the hop. Guns in the dirt. Dug out by Hernandez.
Knight has to wait for the big hop. He throws it low, but watch Hernandez. Not only is he digging out, he's in front of that ball. It was not going to get by him. That's a short hop, a tough play. A classic picture. If he misses it, it hits him in the leg. And now he says to the umpire, "I caught it."
Here's Marty Barrett. Flied to right, bunted for a hit, flied to right again. A chopper over the mound. Here comes Santana. Got it. At the end of 6 1/2, all even at 3.
1-2 delivery. Swung on a tapper to third. Knight's going to have a tough play. Picks it up. Strong throw. Scooped out. Keith Hernandez, a gold glove play at first base. Ooh, he just was able to pick that out. 2 down. It was a tough play for Keith because the tough play at third as well because Knight had to back up on it. Hernandez had to take it on the short hop, getting it in the glove, and there are 2 away. The delivery is swung on a chopper over the head of the pitcher. Santana coming, picks it up, throws to first, and that's it. 3 up and 3 down. 7th inning stretch. We're all tied at 3.
With the crowd screaming, "Take me out to the ball game," a brief moment in the Mets dugout. Hernandez and Carter, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. 3-3. Oh, is it wild here?
Oh, that's the way it should be. 2 clubs battle down the line. It's the 7th game of the World Series, going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. The 9 toughest outs in baseball, and everybody up on their feet.
Calvin Schiraldi, the former Met, coming in to try and stifle the Mets. Bottom of the 7th inning. On deck, among others, as you see, Orozco. Knight will lead off, but Mitchell is going to give way to Lenny Dykstra. So it's going to be Knight, Dykstra, and Santana. And remember, Backman is in the game, having run for Tuffle. Ray Knight singled and grounded out. He is 1 for 2. You know, we have seen Calvin Schiraldi in so many pressure-packed moments in the League Championship Series with the Angels and in the Red Sox. You might forget his first ever Major League save was in August. I mean, he's just starting. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck, Len Dykstra. Ball 2, and the chant, Calvin, Calvin. This one is gone. It is 4-3 New York in the 7th, and Len Dykstra the batter for Kevin Mitchell. The first home run at home hit in this World Series by the home team.
And you hear so much about concentration. Ray Knight was quoted saying he was once told that concentration is the ability to think about nothing. So he certainly was up there loose and really ripped a high fastball.
Ball 3, and Sambito and Stanley are throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. Strike. Boy, I tell you, the last two will kill you.
Dykstra really tried to get down lower than normal to try to get that base on balls.
3-1. Line drive, base hit to right field. Here's another look of Ray Knight's home run launched over the wall in left center.
It looked like it was a belt-high fastball. And Schiraldi, the minute it was touched off, knew it, and there's his reaction. And watch Knight coming around. And what a welcoming party he had.
It is so noisy at Shea, you can't hear the airplanes. You think you're out in the country. And Bill Fisher is out to the mound.
And I tell you, with all this and Dykstra on at first base, don't be surprised if he takes off on the very first pitch to keep it going.
By the way, as Johnny McNamara looks at the lineup cards, when the Red Sox come up in the 8th inning, they will have Bill Buckner, Jim Rice, and Dwight Evans. Rafael Santana, the batter, and he'll be fouled by Roger McDowell. And Boggs looking bunt on the grass.
I think I'd pitch out just to stop everything, but you have to worry about Schiraldi's control.
Ball 1.
They must have heard this crowd at the Meadowlands, Vin. They tell me when they put the score up there, the noise was so great that the players, they had to stop the play.
I can believe that.
From the USFL. He was spectacular. 72 receptions, and he has been able to get himself open here tonight. Uh-oh.
The Mets have just taken the lead on a home run.
There must be thousands of television sets here at Giant Stadium.
And that's the reason for the crowd screaming as they are right now. And in fact, Seaman dropping the flag, and the Redskins and the Giants were so startled by the crowd reaction to what was going on, it had an effect on what was taking place here.
1 ball, no strikes. Dykstra not going on a pitch out, and it's a wild pitch. Dykstra to second base.
Gedman gets out there, but I mean, he is way off the target with the pitch out. It's a play you practice, and there is Bruce Hurst looking on. And now Gedman going out to talk to his pitcher. He's going to have to settle him down because, I mean, the wheels have come off.
And, of course, John McNamara can think of the hit batter involving Brian Downing. The wild pitch Saturday night. The wild pitch tonight. 2-0 to Rafael Santana. Dykstra at second and nobody out. Punched inside first and down the line. Dykstra will score on a single by Santana.
It's a manufactured run to the extent that Santana was going to at least get the ground ball to the right side. Schiraldi jammed him with the fastball, but trying to hit it to the right side, he gets the base hit, and of course Dykstra, looking like he was going to steal, gets the pitch out wild pitch in scoring position, and they still have it going.
So it is 5-3 Mets. And here is McDowell a strike. Calvin Schiraldi has faced 3 batters. He has given up a home run and 2 singles, a wild pitch, and 2 runs. And the Mets have jumped out in front.
McDowell not sure of the signs from Harrelson.
The bunt. to Buckner. No play at second, the out at first. I thought he had a play at second.
I thought he had a play. He looked and all of a sudden decided not to go to second base. In fact, Barrett had snuck in behind first base, so he was well protected. In fact, I thought there was a play on, and you can watch it. Now, Buckner, I think, gets it in plenty of time. He's got a play right there. Santana really still had a play after double pumping, but he took the sure out.
I don't know whether the grass was wet and slick. He didn't have a grip or what, but Calvin Schiraldi has lost his grip, and he's gone. It is 5-3 Mets in the seventh, one out. We'll be back.
Well, we saw Steve Crawford in the bullpen briefly earlier, but now with Bruce out of the game and the score is still tied after the Red Sox don't score in the top of the seventh to the bottom half, we've explained why Oil Can Boyd is not available. Roger Clemens is not going to be called upon for an inning or two here. Back to you, Calvin. 3-3 game. What are you thinking? It's only 48 hours since things kind of fell apart in Game 6. What are you thinking now?
Well, I'm thinking I'm feeling all right just because I've had the extra day with the 3 innings the night before, whatever it was. I'm feeling pretty good until this pitch right here. Got it high, a high fastball, and not anywhere close to where Getty was setting up.
It looked like a little bit of a shake on the pitch selection right before that.
That's the shake-off sign.
Just an automatic shake-off.
I only had 2 pitches, so I wasn't going to throw a curveball, and Getty wasn't going to call it, so we know that wasn't happening.
It was A or B.
Yeah.
So Knight, who had scored the winning run in the crazy Game 6 2 nights before, homers as the leadoff man in the bottom of the seventh. That makes it 4-3. The Mets tack on 2 more, and they lead 6-3.
Ray Knight has singled and grounded out. Schiraldi 2-1 count, shakes off Gedman. Now the windup in the delivery, swung on, hit in the air, fairly deep to left field, going back near the wall, looking up, goodbye! Home run, Ray Knight! The Mets lead 4-3.
Stanley on the outside looking in, watching Joe Sambito walk Mookie Wilson intentionally with Wally Backman, the switch hitter, coming up. What an awesome moment here, especially if you are a visitor, to hear 50,000 people in unison chanting and singing, "We will rock you," and they are rocking Shea. Wally Backman has not been much of a hitter right-handed. That's why he didn't start against Bruce Hurst. But he's hitting right-handed against Sambito with Hernandez on deck. Santana at second, Wilson at first, 1 out, 5-3 Mets in the 7th inning. Way outside, great save by Rich Gedman, or you have runners at second and third.
Looked like a case of just overthrowing the ball. Gedman ready for anything, and he gets out there, makes a play much like a first baseman.
So 2 former Mets. First Calvin Schiraldi, now Joe Sambito on the griddle. Ball 2. Ball 3. Strike.
Gotta believe he's taking this one too. They want to get Hernandez up there.
On the corner.
He's taken all away, and that's the way they play, and that's the way they should with Hernandez coming up next.
Santana and Wilson checking with Buddy Harrelson to see if they'll play run and hit. Runners will hold. Fouled away. Runners hold. Ball 4. It was Hernandez who was 0 for 2 when he came to the plate in the 6th inning. And with the bases loaded, single to left center to drive in 2. Bob Stanley is probably getting ready to pitch to Gary Carter.
Hernandez tries to hang in against that left-hander and take him to the opposite field. He was able to do that to Hurst. And now he's facing another left-hander, Zambito.
Santana at third, Wilson at second, Backman at first. 1 out, 2 in, 5-3 New York. High fly ball to center. That's plenty deep. In fact, Wilson and Santana tag. Santana will score. Wilson to third. 6-3 New York. McNamara will now bring in Bob Stanley to pitch to Gary Carter. 3 runs charged to Bruce Hurst. He does not have a decision. 3 runs charged to Schiraldi. He will have a decision unless the Sox can come back. It is 6-3 New York. 2 out in the 7th, and we'll be back. McNamara for the moment with his head down. The Mets leading the Red Sox 6-3 in the 7th inning. And Bob Stanley will go head-to-head with Gary Carter. Wally Backman is at first. Mookie Wilson is at third. And of course it was Stanley who threw the wild pitch that turned Shea Stadium into the madhouse the other night. Carter tried to bunt for a hit, grounded out, picked up an RBI on a force play. Ball 1. Don't forget, the Red Sox will have Buckner, Rice, and Evans in the top of the 8th. 55,032 at Shea. It sounds like 100,000. Chopper to Owen. Tough play. Got him at first. Otherwise, another run. But the Mets come up with 3 more. And at the end of 7, the Mets 6 and the Red Sox 3.
2-0 count. The delivery. Swung on, hit down to first. It is a fair ball. Base hit. Here comes Lenny Dykstra. He'll score. Santana hangs on. An RBI for Rafael Santana. And the Mets lead 5-3. Zambito ready. Here's the delivery. Swung on, hit in the air to center. They'll score 1 run, tagging up Santana. Henderson going deep, waiting under it, makes the catch. Moving in to score will be Santana, and Mookie Wilson will move up to third, and the Mets lead 6-3. An RBI for Hernandez, his 3rd of the game.
This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. What we have now is a brief show of strength to the 55,032. The policemen on horseback, along with police in the stands, by inference telling the crowd they will not allow the exhibition that occurred here when the Mets clinched the pennant.
That bullpen has been turned into a horse pen. That's where they are, and they're going to come out. What a show of strength. There they are in the bullpens.
And we can only hope that if and when this crowd celebrates, they will be dissuaded from any wild acts. Because from what they tell me, when the Mets won the pennant here, it looked more like sharks at feeding time. However, the Sox have 6 outs left with Buckner, Rice, and Evans coming up in the 8th inning. And Roger McDowell, who is in his 5th game, 5 of 7, pitching to Buckner. Right. Bill Buckner singled to right, lined out to center, and flied to right, but those at-bats were against Ron Darling. The Sox jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and there's a looping single to left. That's only the 2nd hit for Boston since the 2nd inning. So they just stopped completely, and the reason they stopped so completely was the performance by left-hander Sid Fernandez in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. There, as you can see, the newcomers. Backman, of course, came in, having run for Tuffle in the 6th inning. Dykstra taking over in center, and Wilson moving over to left. Fouled away. Jim Rice trying to get his ball club back in the ball game. As we mentioned earlier, Rice has only had 5 at-bats in the entire series with a runner in scoring position. Fouled away. And he led off the inning. 1 out of 3 at-bats tonight, so just about half of his at-bats in the series, he's been the leadoff man. And he's going to be in trouble doing that.
And with McDowell pitching, they don't expect him to pull the ball. They're really bunching him up the middle.
Line drive gets on by as it explodes, and McDowell now is in trouble. A low ball pitcher against a low ball hitter who represents the tying run, Dwight Evans, and nobody out.
He got that pitch up to Rice. They had him played pretty well. The defense was there, but he hit it so hard it just got right on by him. You can see the ball is up. A sinker ball that can't pitch there, and Santana, even at that, almost came up with it, and now it is strength against strength.
In the Mets bullpen for the 2nd time, left-hander Jesse Orozco begins to loosen up. Evans homered in the 2nd, flied to center, and struck out. Buckner at 2nd, Rice at 1st, nobody out. 1-1. On deck is the left-hand hitting Rich Gedman. And Orozco in the wings. And that's going to be hit into right center field. That's a base hit. And even Buckner on one leg will score easily. And let's watch Rice. They're going to wave him in. Backman has no play, and the Sox have come back with 2, and the Mets lead is now 6-5. And the tying run is at 2nd base with nobody out.
Evans really plugged the gap in right center field. Dykstra in center field, shading him a bit towards left center, a lot of room. And watch Buckner, he sees it fall, and here he comes. It rolls all the way to the fence, and Buckner able to score, as did Rice. easily.
And when you can score Buckner and Rice without a play, and Backman had no play whatsoever, you know that ball was hit deep into right center, and that's going to be all. Roger McDowell, who has appeared in 5 of the 7 games, has had to leave. Jesse Orozco will be coming in to pitch to Rich Gedman. Hold on to your hats. We'll be back.
Bananas.
Jesse Orozco making his 4th appearance in this World Series. His earned run average is 0-0. 8-6. He was whispering before the ball game that he had a sore throat, but that his arm is fine.
We've got an identical situation here when Santana was up there with the man on second base with Dykstra after the pitch out wild pitch. He tried to hit the ground ball to the right side, ended up with a base hit. Gedman is in that same situation. He has to try to pull that ball, at least get the ground ball, and move Evans over to third base with 1 out. He's got to pick up a base with the out.
Rich Gedman homered off Darryl Strawberry's glove in the 2nd inning when Ron Darling was pitching. Grounded out in the 3rd, struck out in the 6th, you remember, on 3 pitches by Sid Fernandez. Davey Johnson wants to talk to John Kibler for the moment.
Gedman was really looking at Rene Latchman, and the Mets even halfway looking for the bunt here, maybe all the way looking. Now Kibler wants to talk to Harry Wendelstedt. No idea what's happening.
I was trying to get lucky and read some lips, but it didn't work. The bench was hollering at Ray Knight, and he's come up. He's about even with the bag at 3rd now. So the tying run is at second base, nobody out, and Orozco going head-to-head with Rich Gedman. 6-5 Mets, 8th inning. Big sweeping curveball, 0-1. Of course, if you get that slow curve, that's about the best pitch you can handle to get a bunt, but I don't think McNamara is thinking bunt.
Well, Roscoe is thinking one thing. He's got to go for the strikeout.
0-1.
Another curveball.
The old axiom, and that was violated the other night. Bunt at home. You bunt to win on the road. Well, Gedman hacking away 0-2. 0-1.
What you just said was according to the book.
Right, and the book is gone.
That's right. The other night, 1st and 2nd, Johnson decided not to bunt because Howard Johnson didn't look good on the 1st attempt. So that book, forget it, it's been burned.
1-2 to Rich Gedman. And he's going to hit a line drive at Backman over to Santana. Not in time. Boy, was that close. And I'll tell you one thing, Santana had a little heat to handle on the dead run. Backman fired it. Good play by Santana.
And good play by Backman, and a great play by Dwight Evans. You can see he started to lean, and Backman, he really guns it over there. Santana very alertly there, but Evans, a good piece of base running.
So Gedman line drive at Backman, 1 out, and of course that's a very expensive out late in the game. If he makes an out, if that ball hits the ground first and he's able to move his man to 3rd, you'd have the tying run 90 feet away. If you're wondering about Don Baylor, he is on the steps of the Red Sox dugout. The steps. There he is. So 1 out. Evans at 2nd. 6-5 Mets in the 8th inning. Now back. Henderson walked, was hit by a pitch, and flied to center.
And the way they're defensing Henderson, Evans at second base will be able to get a pretty good-sized lead because he'll be able to watch the second baseman, Backman. You can see they're playing him the pull. Knight will guard the line. Santana near the hole, and you can see where Backman is, so Evans can keep an eye on him and get a pretty good lead.
Single by Buckner, single by Rice, and a double by Evans to get the Sox back in the game. Mets lead 6-5. It's been Darling, Fernandez, McDowell, and Orozco. And they're up on their feet again at Shea. In the dirt, blocked nicely by Carter, and Evans has to hold at second.
Once again, Carter keeps that ball in front of him, and there's nothing Evans can do. When you see that ball in front of you, the first rule is don't go anywhere. You'll watch it here.
Henderson getting a lot of curveballs. Remember, he took Aguilera deep for the home run in the 10th inning Saturday night. 1-2. Spike Owen.
There is Orozco throwing a curveball. There was no way Henderson was going to see a fastball. The target was the right kneecap, and Carter making the save on that one that bounced there was a big play that time at bat because Orozco comes back with the strike. And now they're having a big meeting on the mound as to what they're going to do with Baylor.
Baylor has had 10 at-bats in the series. He has 2 hits. One of the 2 hits a double, and 1 run batted in. So the man who became the designated sitter in the National League now comes up trying to get the Sox even. And the key, of course, Gedman's line drive at Backman. Tying run, Dwight Evans at second base.
Baylor pretty much the way they pitch Henderson, stay away from the fastball, show him the fastball, make him hit the breaking ball.
And Orozco's best pitch is a slider. But he started him with the slow breaking ball. Ground ball to the hole. That's where Santana was playing him. Got him. Two runs, 3 hits, and the Sox lead the tying run at second base with nobody out. 6-5 New York.
Top of the 8th. Evans at the plate after singles by Buckner and Rice. He drives one into the gap. Billy Buck scores.
Sort of.
Right? Rice scores, and it's 6-5. That chases McDowell. And here comes Orozco to face the left-handed hitting Gedman with Evans at second and nobody out in what is now a 1-run game, and a line drive that's caught by Backman. Evans dives back in, but the Red Sox are unable to move the man to third.
How about that play by Evans? So can you
Yeah,
get back?
get back. Yeah. It was a rocket. Here's our Mr. October.
Don Baylor's got a bat as Henderson strikes out. Henderson had been Mr. October, but that time Orozco got him. And here comes Baylor, who had started the rally in Game 5 of the ALCS in the top of the 9th against Mike Witt with a 2-run homer. Off-speed pitch bounced to short. Santana throws him out, and the tying run is left at second base, and it's a 6-5 game as the Mets come up in the bottom half of the 8th.
That's some big league pitching right there, you know. runner on second, nobody out. You got to get the ball on the screws. But, you know, after that, he made a couple good pitches, just some good hitters.
Up next, the conclusion of the World Series as an unforgettable 1986 postseason finally has a champion.
Milk's got the kick that gives you more. Health kick. More nutrition in every pore. Health kick.
Hey, New York, get on my Health Kick. Milk. It's got the power I need for pure energy.
Kick. So get on a health kick, let it pour. America's favorite health kick. Get on a health kick, milk's got more. Have more milk, 'cause milk's got more.
It is head-shaking time for a frustrated and disappointed Don Baylor as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 6-5 New York Mets, and this is the epitome, the pinnacle of all baseball, to get the final game of a 7-game World Series, a 1-run game, and the home club coming back to take the lead, and the visiting team really making a run.
And both clubs really battling. So far, the difference has been the Santana ground ball, which went for the base hit.
In the bottom of the 8th inning, 2 changes for the Red Sox. Al Nipper is on the mound, and Ed Romero is at shortstop. If you're keeping score, put Nipper in the number 8 spot, occupied by Owen. And put Romero number 9, so he's due to lead off in the 9th inning. The Sox got 3 in the 2nd inning, but maybe the turning point, certainly emotionally, was the job that Sid Fernandez did to stop the Sox, inspire the crowd, which in turn seemed to inspire the hitters. And here's Strawberry, fouled away.
And he had to do it twice, Vin. If you remember in that 5th inning when he ended by striking out Rice and Evans, the crowd was really up, and then Hurst came back and he shut the Mets down, and Fernandez came back and did it again in the 6th.
Ground foul to Bill Robinson, 0-2. It's been Bruce Hurst, Calvin Schiraldi, who is the pitcher of record, Joe Sambito, Bob Stanley, and Al Nipper. The Mets have used Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez, Roger McDowell, and Jesse Orozco.
And one of the big questions will be whatever happened to Oil Can Boyd.
High drive into deep right field. Evans back at the wall. Gone. A strike to Ray Knight. Knight, who singled to center, grounded to short, and homered in the 7th inning. 7-5 New York. And if you are young Darryl Strawberry, you must sit in the dugout and think, take your Darryl, Darryl. And the place bombarded now with rolls of paper, which will do nothing but slow it up. Knight will be followed by Lenny Dykstra. Here's another look at that skyrocket, a towering drive that went out at about the 370 sign, and he knew it immediately. It'll take him about 20 minutes to go around the base path.
Oh, he really took his time. It was one of those majestic home runs, a towering drive, and he was going to enjoy it as much as anybody.
That's the look in Game 5 when the whole right field stance. Darrow. It took him a while, but he answered them tonight. Up the middle, base hit for Ray Knight. In the Red Sox dugout as Rene Lachemann charts every pitch. To look ahead for Boston, they will have Ed Romero, Wade Boggs, and Marty Barrett. And the Mets hitters are trying to lighten the load for Jesse Orosco. Here's Dykstra. Ball 3. And Bruce Hurst, who pitched so magnificently, won twice, went 6 innings, and had his team even when he came out. He is not involved with the decision, but he's the youngster who was voted the MVP, and of course he'll lose that award. Hit up the middle, but in motion is the shortstop Romero, who is breaking to cover, and by being in motion he takes a hit away from Dykstra. Knight into second base.
Looks like it's going to get through there, but Romero was breaking to cover second base and was in perfect position and really turns it into a routine play.
Rafael Santana, who had a key hit in the 7th inning when he singled inside first base to drive in Dykstra. 1 for 3.
And it was a good pitch that Schiraldi made to Santana, who was trying to hit the ground ball and be sure he picked up the base if he did make the out, but he jammed him. Santana swung and got it between Buckner and the bag and drove in a big run.
Santana struck out, grounded out, and then singled. They are going to walk him intentionally with Orosco coming up. And Orosco might very well be asked to bunt, and Mookie Wilson would then come up.
Used the bunt as a defensive play to the point to stay away from the double play, which would end the inning.
Orosco has only had 3 at-bats all year, and he does not have a sacrifice. And a meeting at the mound.
I'd almost bet the house that he's going to bunt.
Oh, yes.
And I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. Lay the ball in there, and maybe we can make a play at third.
So Al Nipper, he was the man who was sent to the mound in John McNamara's calculated gamble. And the Mets eventually won the game 6-2. Nipper went 6 innings and allowed 3 runs in that game. And now Nipper, in the 8th inning of the 7th game, somehow trying to restrain the Mets from opening up a 7-5 lead. He's bunting. Ball 1. What they do is, as you can see, they're really squeezing the plate. Ed Romero is breaking to cover the bag at third. That allows Boggs and Buckner to come full tilt towards the plate.
Orosco is not sure. He doesn't get up that much. Harrelson's going to make sure, but again, he's got to bunt. He has to bunt to keep the inning alive.
Swinging and a ground ball into center field. In comes Knight. It is 8-5 Mets. And Joe, you just lost your house.
Davey Johnson, I tell you, is living a charmed life. He's the only guy in the ballpark that thought he should hit, and it paid off for him again.
That had to be an invitation, of course, with Boggs charging the plate. Romero breaking to third. There just wasn't anybody there capable of handling a ground ball.
And Orosco does it perfectly. He just puts the bat on the ball, and everybody's moving. The closest man was Marty Barrett. And you've got to take your hat off to Davy Johnson once again. He walks that fine line. He did it the other night by not bunting with Howard Johnson, got away with it, and gets a big base hit here.
John McNamara bringing a hook with him, I believe. He'll go to Steve Crawford. And we shall return.
And Nipper now comes on to face Strawberry, Knight, and Dykstra. Delivery, swung on, hit in the air to right field. Fairly deep, Evans going back at the wall. Goodbye, home run! Darryl Strawberry! 7-5, New York!
Al Michaels, Frank Gifford with you as Ken Jenkins has at least assumed that posture as he got ripped on the run back after a 7-yard return and goes head on into Pepper Johnson.
That's Johnson, and you can see the head of Ken Jenkins snap back. He is on his feet. I would not be a bit surprised if he doesn't have certainly at least a mild concussion. He was looking around in a rather curious way, and having been in that position before, it is a very curious feeling until everything starts to come back together again.
It would be nice to think they were cheering for Johnson. What they're cheering is Strawberry's 8th inning home run at Shea, and the Mets lead 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th.
1-1 count. Delivery, they rotate again. He swings away, a chopper, base hit in the center field. Ray Knight will score, and Orozco has an RBI single. It is 8-5 New York. Oh, my Lord, when you least expect it. A rotating infield, nobody playing on the left side, and Jesse put it on the shortstop side of second base.
Darryl Strawberry jeered in Boston, frustrated here when the ball went off his glove, and a hero. And on the other side, a very bitter moment for all of the Red Sox. It is 8-5 New York.
Now I once saw a line by Louis Grizzard that really captures that picture. He said, losing hurts worse than winning feels good.
Well, boy, it sure hurts worse in the Boston dugout. Listen to this crowd and that chant. That was Al Nipper with his face buried in the cloth. The dramatic shot, and reminding you of Calvin Schiraldi's sad moment in Anaheim. If you're wondering, Jesse Orozco has been in the big leagues 5.5 years. He had 10 hits. High slicing foul off third, down the line, back into the crowd, out of play. So in the inning, Strawberry homered, Knight singled, Dykstra grounding out, advancing Knight. Santana walked intentionally. Orozco singles in Knight. And Mookie Wilson against Steve Crawford.
10 hits in 5 years.
Why not let him swing?
With that kind of managerial strategy, Johnson ought to be buying lottery tickets after the game.
0-1. Hit him. Yep, he goes to first. And that will load the bases. Mookie's quick, but that one nailed him. It was Mookie, you remember, at the plate on the wild pitch. Saturday night. Here's Saturday night. The pitch that didn't hit him, thrown by Stanley, that went to the backstop. So the Mets have loaded the bases. The infield has to play up. The Mets leading 8-5. Ground ball and a broken bat. Barrett to the plate for the force to Gedman. And Santana is erased, and everybody moves up 90 feet. So Backman is at first. Wilson is at second. Orozco has reached third, and Santana out.
Watch how sure Marty Barrett makes the play. He looks, finds his man, and throws a strike.
2 out. They're picking up the pieces of that shattered bat. And here's Keith Hernandez. Al Nipper remains motionless in his grief in the Boston dugout. For Hernandez, it's his third at bat with the bases loaded tonight. He singled to drive in 2 in the 6th. His scoring fly ball picked up a run in the 7th. And here he is with a full plate in the 8th. And there's one hit and short hop by Barrett. Keeps it in front of him and throws to Buckner. And the inning is over, but the Mets get 2 more. And at the end of 8, as the champagne gets colder, the Mets 8, Red Sox 5, and they're 3 outs from pulling the cord.
All right, Kurt County, the Mets taking the field here, hopeful that today they can win the ball game and wrap it up with a World's Championship here at Shea Stadium before the home folks.
There's a drive by McNally, hit the deep left field, and that ball is into the Baltimore bullpen. Dave McNally has put the Orioles out in front 2-0. Looking back to last year's World Series, we remember home runs by Bob Gibson and Mickey Lolich. There's a long belt by Robinson. Forget that one. It's gone. Nobody moved in the Met outfield or infield. Robinson slams it into deep left center, and the Orioles lead 3-0.
So with nobody out, the Mets have a base runner, and Don Clendenon is up, and the Met fans have come alive here. Way back in left field. Buford goes to the wall. It's going, gone for a home run for Clendenon. Clendenon's 3rd home run in this World Series. It is Baltimore 3 and the Mets 2. He hit a 2-2 pitch. That's a fly ball to deep left, and Buford breaks back now, and it's going, and it is gone for a home run for Al Weiss. And the score is tied at 3-3. Breaking pitch is hit in the air down the left field line. Buford is racing over, and he can't get it. He short-hopped it. Jones is coming home. There'll be no play at the plate. He scores, and Swoboda goes to second on the throw. The Mets are leading by a score of 4-3. Ron Swoboda. This is a 1-1 pitch. And it is hit to first base off the glove of Boog Powell. And now he is safe. And here comes Swoboda to the plate. He scores. Eddie Watt coming over to cover was behind the runner. And Powell tried to toss it to him. He's safe at first. A run batted in, and the Mets lead by a score of 5-3.
The city's at a standstill. Everywhere, fans are glued to radio and television sets as the Mets get ready for the top of the ninth, leading 5-3, needing only 3 more outs for the World Championship. Well, it's up to Dave Johnson now to save the Orioles. He's had 1 hit in 3 times. The 2-1 pitch. There's a fly ball hit out to left. Waiting is Jones. The Mets are the World Champions. Gary Koosman being mobbed. Look at this scene.
The culmination of the impossible dream in 1969, a fly ball to left field for the last out, and the Mets are the world's champions. What made it interesting, the batter who made that last out is right there, the manager of the Mets, Davey Johnson. He was also the last player to get a base hit off Sandy Koufax in the 1966 World Series. But now let's see if the Sox have anything left. They rallied gamely in the 8th when they were down by 3. They had 2 singles and a double to get within 1, and they left the tying run at second. Now in the 9th, Ed Romero, Wade Boggs, and Marty Barrett against Jesse Orozco. The way the pattern of the game has developed, truly the guys who got the Mets here are out there at every position, with Hernandez and Backman and Santana and Knight and Wilson and Dykstra and Strawberry and Carter. 1-1. Popped it up. It will be home. Carter or Hernandez. Hernandez. Tonight's game is brought to you by AT&T, the right choice. By the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right. And by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft smoothness. It's beer at its best. And the Sox, who were a strike from elimination in Southern California, who looked like they had a lock at Game 6, are now down to their last 2 outs. And here's Wade Boggs, 1 for 3. When this game ends, we will visit both clubhouses, and we will have tributes to each team, as well we should, as each team merits a tribute. And we had said, as we look at Dave Henderson and a somewhat heartbroken Red Sox bench, that it was the best of times and the worst of times. That was the tale of 2 cities, and that's the way the series would end. Fouled away, 1-2. Ron Darling with his arm draped over Sid Fernandez, and Fernandez has to be the unsung hero.
No question about it. He's the one that gave him the momentum.
1-2 to Wade Boggs. Curveball, big chopper to Backman. Hurry to Hernandez. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer for NBC Baseball and tonight's director, Harry Coyle. The telecast of tonight's World Series, produced by George Finkel. Pre-game produced by Les Dennis. Pre-game directed by Andy Rosenberg. Technical directors Lenny Stucker, Steven Cimino, and Ken Harvey. And there is a smoke bomb on the field and timeout. And Mookie Wilson out in the midst of all that smoke. So timeout. An oil can boy who was supposed to pitch Game 7, and then the rains came. And Wade Boggs, the major league's leading hitter, can just sit and think of what might have been. Bill Buckner is on deck. But it will be up to Marty Barrett to keep the Sox very faint hopes alive. Barrett, 2 fly balls to right, a bunt single and grounded out. Strike. And there is His Honor the Mayor, standing in the back of that line of Mets. 1 ball, 1 strike. They have planned a ticker tape parade for the Mets tomorrow if they win tonight. They're going to check it first. No swing, says Jim Evans. One ball, now 2, and 1 strike. Half swing, That's going to cost a strike. And the Sox are down to their last strike. And this crowd is really ready to reach the heavens now. Fouled away.
This crowd will tell us what's happening.
Friends, tonight's NBC Miller Lite player of the game, we feel, is left-hander Sid Fernandez. Miller Lite is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Sid Fernandez to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. 2 1/3 hitless innings with 4 strikeouts. Got him!
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1986 World Champion New York Mets.
Friends, the World Series locker room is brought to you by Ford Division, who congratulates the 1986 World Champion New York Mets on an exciting World Series. And, of course, our thanks as well to the Boston Red Sox.
We are in the victorious Met clubhouse, even as we look at Wade Boggs on the Red Sox bench. Commissioner Uberoth, the manager of the ball club, Davey Johnson, the general manager, Frank Cashin, and for the presentation of the trophy, Commissioner Uberoth.
Well, very quickly, pleased to tell you that there's a wire from the President of the United States congratulating the Mets. He's watched all the games. He's very happy to congratulate you, and he's invited the entire team, everyone from the organization, to the White House.
Well, that's very nice, and we certainly will go, and we appreciate that.
Let me tell you, it's very special for baseball, and I'd like to present you right now and this great big guy, if I can, his trophy.
Yeah, where's Freddie Wilpont? Fred Wilpont was going to be...
Looking for Fred Wilpont, one of the owners of the ball club.
Davey, you take it. You're stronger than me.
Davey, it's a heavy one.
Great.
I think I can hold it. 7 7 games. You did it all the way. Congratulations.
It doesn't get any better than this, Peter. This is what it's all about.
Super.
Frank, we'll start with you. You were the architect of bringing this ball club along in a few years' time from a last-place team to a team that won 108 during the regular season and now reigns as world champions. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that we had great ownership. Mr. Wilpont, Mr. Doubleday give us the time to really rebuild this ball club, and people like Al Harrison and Joe McIlvain and Steve Shriver and Harry Minor, plus Davey and some great ball players, we were able to do it. So we'll always be appreciative of the ownership, and it's great to be a winner, as you know. And I thank the fans of New York and the people everywhere that supported us.
Let's get a word here from Davey. Strange and unfair as it might seem, if one thing or another broke a different way Saturday night, you come up short, and some people, unfair as it would have been, would have said failure.
Well, that's what this game's all about. You can never take anything for granted. Strange things happen. You just keep plugging away. And it happened for us. We deserve it. We had the best record in baseball. We should be the world champs.
Your thoughts about the Boston Red Sox?
They're a great ball club. It was very touch and go. Both, break here, break there, and they could have been world champs. But the good guys got it.
Is there any way to describe the roller coaster? 2 out, bottom of the 10th Saturday, and you're standing here now?
Well, that's baseball. That's what makes it so beautiful. It's never over till it's over. I think somebody said that. And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all worth sweating for.
Davey, congratulations.
Thank you, Bobby.
A quick word from Fred Wilpon, one of the owners of the ball club.
Bob, I'm very thrilled. I'm thrilled for New York. I'm thrilled for the New York Mets. Boston Red Sox have nothing to be ashamed of. They played great baseball, great character on both sides. Frank Cashin and his organization here is, I think, the best of baseball, and I love him. I love it for New York.
We're going to try and get Ray Knight up here. Before we speak with Ray Knight, the most valuable player, we're going to go to the other side, to the Boston clubhouse, and Marv Albert. Marv?
All right, Bob, and this man to my right, Bruce Hurst of the Red Sox, who had a splendid World Series, winning 2 games, not able to do it tonight, but on Saturday night, at one point, you were actually voted most valuable player of the series before the game was over. I know this has to be a difficult moment for you.
Well, I'd rather trade all that stuff for the World Championship. We battled hard all year long, and we came back, and today we tried, but we just didn't have enough, and you have to tip your hat to the Mets. They came back, we beat them the first 2, and they showed a lot of class and a lot of guts, and they have a lot of great players on their team, and you just have to give them credit.
Bruce, of course, this is 1986, but ball players are very superstitious, and you look back to the Red Sox of 67, of 46, of 75, and people say they are snake-bitten. What is your reaction to that? Did that have any effect on this ball club?
None whatsoever. What happened in the past doesn't have any bearing on what happened today. We had every opportunity to win. We had a chance to win on Game 6, and we didn't put it away. And we were in the game today, and then we just let it slip away. What happened in 46 and 75 and all those other years, it doesn't make any difference. It's a totally different ball club, different players, whole different cast of characters, and this team can win, and we'll be back.
All right, and we're told that Ray Knight won Most Valuable Player Award in the series, and the last 2 games, he's the man who did most of the damage.
He's a very good player. I felt like all along for me to win, he was one of the guys that I had to get out. He's a great hitter. He's a great 2-strike hitter. He doesn't strike out a lot, and he's an outstanding player, and I have to tip my hat to Ray. He did a great job for them and beat us.
All right, Bruce, thank you very much. And Ray Knight, the series MVP, is alongside Bob Costas. Let's get back to the Met locker room.
Marv, thank you. And just a moment ago, Ray, Davey Johnson was saying it's just baseball. It's the way it is. You can go from GOAT to hero, from the bottom to the top, and it happened for you certainly in such graphic fashion.
It surely did, man. I tell you, I was so down the other night after the error, but this is a game of redeeming features, and thank the good Lord, I had a chance to come back, and we won that ball game tonight. Just goes to show you, if you keep fighting and there, things can happen, and that's the way it's been for me all year, and just a great bunch of guys, and golly, I don't really know what to say. I'm just so excited and happy, and this is unbelievable.
The home run that snapped the tie.
Well, it was a fastball, 2-1. I was looking for a fastball tie ball game, and I'm a fastball hitter, and I just looked, pitch up and kind of in the strike zone. He threw it right there, and I had a good swing at it. I don't hit too many of them, but I knew that was gone if he was up enough.
What did they say to you? Can you remember it all when you hit home plate and then the dugout?
Boy, the last 2 nights, everything's been pretty numb for me. My concentration level's been so high. They just hugged me and gave me high fives and all that, and I don't really know what they said. I was just emotionally spent again. I've been exhausted the whole last couple of nights. Boy, right, let's go. Woo! And just the feeling of when they touch your hand and all that stuff is such a feeling of togetherness and closeness. They really said a lot, but I don't remember what they said.
Congratulations on being named MVP.
Thank you very much. Unbelievable.
Let's get Keith Hernandez in here.
You deserve it.
Keith, I was thinking as you came to bat in the 6th inning with the score 3-0 and the bases loaded. In '82, in the other World Series in which you played for the Cardinals, bottom of the 6th at Busch Stadium, trailing 3-1 bases loaded, left-handed pitcher on the mound. An almost unbelievably identical situation, and you also got a base hit there.
Well, I remember that well. I tied the game, and there was 2 outs at the time. I felt, Bob, I swung the bat great the whole series. And everybody's saying, well, you're not hitting the ball. And I said, well, you can't look at the box scores. I've been hitting the ball good the whole series and right at people. And I woke up this morning, I told my brother who was with me from California, Gary, I said, if I get a chance with men on base today, I'm going to be the man. And it just worked out great that way. I was at bat, I was so confident and relaxed. I was just up for that at bat. It was it's a situation you thrive on, but I didn't have any butterflies. I was having my great concentration.
On Saturday night, after you made the 2nd out and you're down by 2 runs in the bottom of the 10th, you went into Davey Johnson's office, and tell us what happened then.
Well, I went into Davey's office. I figured it was the last at bat of my season and our season. And I grabbed a Budweiser. Augie Bush will love that. And drank a Bud and sat in Davey's director's chair. And we got 2 hits. Then the 3rd hit, I got a run in, and all of a sudden the tying runs on base. I ran to my locker and got my glove. And then I said, I was going halfway out the door going to field, and I said, no, that chair's got hits in it, and I stayed right there. And that was a remarkable comeback.
Congratulations for being part of a world champion.
I promised my 3 daughters I would say hello, Jessie, Melissa, and Mary Elise, and my sister-in-law, Mary Horn. They're behind us all the way, and I love them. I'll see them in a week.
And from the champagne shampoo, we go back upstairs to Vin Scully.
And meanwhile, down on the mound with Kevin Elster on his feet and other members of the Mets, it has evidently been a ritual. When the Mets clinched the division, clinched the pennant, why, they sat on the mound, several of them. And tonight there are those who remembered Rick Aguilera. And then, of course, we can see Howard Johnson, and Kevin Elster is there, and there is Ron Darling, and they walked out with large bottles of champagne. And of course, it's not for drinking. I think they spill much more than they ever thought of drinking. And now the crowd salutes them as they can say, truly, we are #1. Let's go back now to an outstanding young player in the series, Marty Barrett, and to Marv Albert.
Thank you, Vin. And Marty Barrett personally had a sensational series. But Marty, as you take a look at what is taking place in the Met locker room and down on the field, as we just saw, what goes through your mind?
Well, I know right how they're feeling. You know, we were there when we came back on the Angels the same way they came back on us Saturday, and we came back and won it. And what can I say? They got the hits when they had to. Tonight they were down 3-0. They didn't give up, and they're a great ball club, and it's just a great finish to a great year for them.
Red Sox 1 strike away from winning it all Saturday night. How much does that hurt?
Well, it hurts. It hurts a lot, and I'm sure 2 weeks from now we're really going to be hurting and really think about how unbelievable that was. But, you know, it's funny. What goes around comes around, and I just didn't think it'd come around this quick. But we did the same thing against the Angels, but, you know, what can we say?
If you fellas could do one thing differently, if you could do it over, what would that be?
Probably get that last out Saturday night. I don't know. We played awful good ball. We played, you know, we were supposed to, people thought we were going to lose this in 4 or 5 games. They picked us 5th at the start of the season. We got a great ball club, and we can all go back home for 2 weeks and relax, and then we got to start hitting the weights and start working out and go hard for next year.
Okay, Marty, congratulations on a superb World Series.
Thanks, Marv.
All right, Marty Barrett of the Red Sox. And for these 1986 Boston Red Sox, it was a season of many memories, but the memories fell short.
All my memories are safely packed, and my dreams are neatly folded away. I've got nothing to show that I came very close to a love that might have worked out okay. All the tables and chairs, they stand empty and bare, and there isn't any sign you were here. So just walk to the door and try not to get too near. You might look in my eyes and see all the pain, the sadness deep inside. Don't look in my eyes, 'cause that's where I keep the tears that I can't hide. If you just go, it'll be alright. I know I'll get through the night, and I'll even smile as we say our goodbyes. Just don't look in my eyes. Just don't look in my eyes.
Hey, Wade. Hey, John. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Calvin. Hey, Boston. Hold your head up. You gave it your best shot and came up a buck short. We'll be right back.
Good effort by Morris. Right there, keeps both feet inbounds. Has his eyes on the first down marker. And since the sticks.
And the Mets just won the World Series, so that's the reason for the response. And that'll create a little bit of a delay here while the crowd settles down.
It will. And it'll delay things considerably for the next few days in New York.
Sims wants quiet. Good luck, Phil.
Welcome back to a postseason to remember, 1986. We head now to the bottom of the 8th of Game 7 of the World Series at Shea Stadium. The Red Sox have cut the deficit to 1. It's now 6-5 Mets. Al Nipper comes out of the bullpen in relief of Calvin Schiraldi, and the first man he faces is Darryl Strawberry. Again, Vin Scully.
High drive into deep right field. Evans back at the wall. Gone.
Now that ball was hit a mile high, but didn't take. Darryl took a lot longer to get around the bases than that ball took to get out. This is a 30-second home run shot right here, Mookie, and I think we know why. It really wasn't directed at the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think that one was for Davey.
I think Straw has worse emotions on his sleeves a lot of times, and you know, when you play with guys during the course of a season, you get to understand, you know, their personalities and why they do certain things. But you know, that was the Straw that's kind of saying, see, this is why you leave me in the ball game.
And the Red Sox took it as an insult to them.
Yeah.
And as it happened, the next spring training, Nipper faced Strawberry in Florida and immediately hit him with a pitch.
Yeah.
And it ignited a bench-clearing incident. But really, it was all about Straw being ticked off at Davey.
Yeah, but you know, you can't blame Nipper because he doesn't know what was going on. And but it made for interesting spring training. Yeah.
So that made it 7-5. Mets tacked on another run, made it 8-5. To the top of the 9th, Ed Romero fouls out, Wade Boggs grounds out, and Marty Barrett is up against Jesse Orozco. The Red Sox down to their last out. You could feel Shea Stadium shake.
Yes,
you could literally feel it shake.
Yes. I tell you the one thing that we did notice, and I'll make a note of this, is whenever I see this, I look in you guys' dugout, and you guys had the same look that we had in Game 6. And
except for we didn't have a Game 7 to go to after that. That was it for us. The book closed right there.
Well, you talk about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat in the immortal words of Jim McKay. You felt all of that October.
It was a postseason to remember. It was unbelievable. I mean, we rode every possible emotion through the playoffs and through the World Series. And you can't come any closer to winning a World Series and lose than we did. You just can't. and it was tough. It was the thing that got me through the whole thing was the next spring. That's where we just never let it die. We were still picking the scabs from what happened in Game 6 in the next spring, and it made for a real long year in '87. Isn't that the beauty about baseball? I mean, no offense to football, but it would be great if we could just kneel down for the last 3 outs. Didn't have to throw the ball. We'd be wearing the ring, and you guys would be in second place. But you have to throw it. I mean, they make you get all 27 outs. They all have to be recorded, and it's the beauty of the game.
Back in the Med clubhouse, and we're joined by Darryl Strawberry. Darryl, it had not been a good series for you, but then you touched one off in the 8th.
Well, yeah, Bobby, it had really not been a good series for me. Things have been going real tough for me. I was struggling during the whole series, but it was an important bat in that situation in the bottom of the 8th, and we needed a big run to give us a lift and give Jesse a comfortable lead, and I was just very thankful that I got a good swing on the slider in. The ball was down and in right where I like it, and I got a good swing, and I got a chance to get the extensions that I wanted to get, and I felt good at getting the hold away.
What about the Gedman homer early in the game that was in and out of your glove?
Well, I was kind of disappointed that I didn't catch that ball. The ball, I felt that I had a good chance of catching the ball, and I got back to the wall just enough to jump. But as soon as I hit the wall went right out of my glove, and it's just one of those things that happen. But I'm just glad that everything turned out well, and we're world champs now. And I want to say hello to my mom and sisters and brothers and my father's back in Southern Cal that was watching the game. I love them all.
I assume you and Davey Johnson are back on speaking terms now.
Well, I think it was just a matter of me calming down. I was kind of disappointed that he took me out of a big game like that World Series, and nobody wants to get taken out of a game like that when you've been around all year and contribute to the ball club. And it's just something that happened, and it's overlooked now. We're world champs now, and I'm very pleased.
Darryl, thank you. Let's turn to Gary Carter. Gary, on Saturday, you were the last guy. 2 outs, nobody on base. You got it started.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, that's the way this ball club played all season. We just never died. We've had the kind of character that has led us to this championship, and I just want to thank Jesus Christ for this, because I tell you, I've dreamed of this. I've dreamed of playing in this World Series, and it's finally happened. And these guys, we are down 2-0. We did the inevitable. We went into Boston, won 2 out of 3 there. We came back home and we won the 2 here. And Bob, it's the greatest feeling in the world. These guys just never stopped, and I'm just so happy that I was able to help contribute.
The point about toughness and character is well taken, because you made a shambles of the Eastern Division race, and everybody said they haven't been tested. They need a crucible to prove themselves, and you did against the Astros and Red Sox.
There's no question. I give a lot of credit to that Astro ball club. They were very, very tough against us. And then this Boston ball club, both of them are champions as far as I'm concerned, and I guess once you get to the playoffs and you've won your division, you got to be considered champions, and we're just so thankful that we're involved in this playoff situation. And Bob, the dream has come true.
I know there's exhilaration here, but is there any moment when you look into the eyes of the guys wearing the other uniforms and empathize, as hard as they fought and as close as they came?
Well, there's got to be some empathy to a losing team. I mean, I've been on the losing end a lot of times, but when I saw the excitement that they had standing on top of the steps when we had those 2 outs in yesterday's ball game, and we were able to come back and win it, I could see the drawn faces. But more importantly, we just never died as well. I give them a lot of credit and all, but it just wasn't meant to be for us, Bob. I'm just so thankful.
Congratulations,
Thank
Gary.
you very much. Okay.
A moment ago, we paid tribute to the Boston Red Sox and their gallant fight. Now it's time to pay tribute to the world champions for 1986, the New York Mets.
I can see the glow of a distant sun. I can feel it inside. Maybe this day could be the one. I can hear the roar of a distant crowd. They are waiting for me
And so it turned out to be the best of times for New York and the worst of times for Boston. And maybe Keith Hernandez said it so well at the very start when he said, it's a shame that somebody has to lose.
It is. It's a game of emotions. We felt the Red Sox. We felt the Mets. But when you look back, it's been a great baseball season, Vin, and you have to think about the Houston Astros. You have to think about Gene Mark, the California Angels. And now everybody's making plans for next year, and that's the way it has to be.
And, of course, for the New York Mets, it took 116 victories for Keith and Wally and Gary and Darrell and the rest of the world champions to be the tops, not only of the National League, but in the World Championship of 1986. We'll be right back and capture more in a moment.
And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run. Take it out, get some help. Take it out.
So the winning run is at second base with 2 out, 3-2 to Mookie Wilson.
He was not going to put me out there if it was going to hurt the ball club.
Little roller up along first.
Now, would Dave Stapleton had caught the ball? Yeah, so would you. Bob, you'd have caught that ball.
Behind the bag, it gets through Buckner.
People ask me how I feel now about it. I feel very blessed. Yeah, I've played 21 years in the major leagues, got to play in 2 World Series.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Would I have liked it, things to change differently in the 7th game? Obviously, or the 6th game. But it didn't. Would I do it again with the same results? Heck yeah.
Mookie, have you ever seen anything like this?
Dave, this whole postseason play has been unbelievable. But you got to give credit to the guys. We don't give up, and nice perfect is out. We could have easily folded, but everybody battled back. It was something to do my part, and I did the best I could.
Hey, Boston, hold your head up. You gave it your best shot and came up a buck short.
Yeah, I still think about it. I don't second guess myself or dread what happened, and I guess it's very important that that was a tremendous playoff and a tremendous World Series, and what the hell, I'll be part of history.
He struck him out. Struck him out. The Mets have won the World Series. The dream has come true. The Mets have won the World Series.
Now the crowd salutes them as they can say, truly, we are #1.
start to say Metzi, Metzi, not Papa, not Mama, Metzi, Metzi, Metzi. So that's what they are. They're now singing the kids, Metzi, Metzi, Metzi. See, when they want food and everything. So the babies are even started. We got them from 4 years on. We got them from 10 years on, 15 years on, 18 years on. And we got them in a group. They have their own groups that come out here. It'd be just like you're giving a banquet at our ball games. Each group comes out with their own group, and it's been spellbound. And, of course, we've drawn over 1 million people who could do that.
Oh, and God rest his soul, how Casey Stengel would have loved it. A reminder, stay tuned following local news for The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, and Late Night with David Letterman, except on the West Coast, most Mountain Time zone stations where it will be seen at its regular time. It's heartbreak time in one dugout, Joe, and laughter and kicks in the other.
Been on both sides. Losing hurts worse than winning feels good.
One thing about the series, they thought there wouldn't be any drama, that it was all left in the league championship series, and maybe it was slow getting underway, but what a whale of a last 2 games.
Somehow baseball always manages to come up with that great 6th and 7th game.
And somehow the youngsters like All-Can Boyd will learn to persevere and bounce back. And Gary Carter and his team, now having climbed the mountain, should certainly enjoy the view. From Shea Stadium in New York, for Joe Garagiola, this is Vin Scully, wishing you a very pleasant good evening.